top 20 running backs in 2025. Who are the top 20 running backs? Redraft 2025. Of course, we'll touch on some dynasty angles as we go, but we need to dig into rankings. We need to dig into rankings since the NFL draft has placed these rookies in new homes. Where do we rank Harvey? What's our expectation for Hendy? Where do you have Hampton? The Fantasy Football Show, Graveyard Edition, live stream, Q&A session on the phone line after, and then probably a draft begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Live whenever news breaks, and here we are at the poker table talking about RBs, and let's rank them walking into 2025. Very easy to talk Jeanty and have conversations about Jeanty. Make no mistake, Jeanty's in the mix for RB's 2025 at the 1, 2, 3 spot. But we're going to play this safe and say that Bijan's the clear top card in this deck because he's got the offense. There's no hiccups in the system. Everything is on the uptick. Penix Jr. is getting into this thing, digging into it from the early jump of the offseason, picking up things. Nothing's going to be better than watching Bijan flourish in an offense that's led by Penix Jr. There's a reason why Bijan wasn't the top running back between the tackles when Kirk Cousins was under center. It was blue 32, hatchback left. Cousins drops back and the defense points at him and laughs and says he hasn't thrown a touchdown in 4 straight games. This guy is not mobile. This is the easiest thing in the world. Let's stack the box and let's make Kirk Cousins beat us. Kirk Cousins couldn't. Kirk Cousins went in his final 5 games. He went 4 straight games without a touchdown. 4. Penix Jr. walks in and Bijan has back-to-back-to-back 2 touchdown rushing games. 2 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns in back-to-back-to-back games to close the season out. This is the magnificent touchdown scoring monster that we predicted he would be. We knew he'd be this good. We knew all he would do is score touchdowns like we alluded to.
Hi, my name is Bijan Robinson. I like long walks on the beach. And, well, I also like scoring touchdowns.
I'm not saying I don't love Jahmyr Gibbs near as much. And honestly, when I do this, I always end up switching it. Like whoever I talk about second, I go, you know what? That might be my number 1 running back because they're both so damn close. They're both our huckleberries. And at the end of the day, what separates the two, and they are 1 and 2, make no mistake about it. That's why I put Gibbs right there as the second best card in this deck. The reason that Bijan's the number 1 running back in redraft, and really dynasty as well, is because there's not a single red flag with his team or with Bijan. There's no injury history we're worried about. That's non-existent. We're not worried about the offense changing. It's getting better. We're not worried about a quarterback change. It's getting better. We're not worried about losing pieces. They gained 2 edge rushers. The one thing that made people not like the Penix Jr. selection in 2024 was that they didn't get their edge rusher. They drafted 2 of them in this draft. They quietly had one of the best drafts in the NFL because they filled their needs. What will support and cascade back and forth. The offense sets up the defense. The defense sets up the offense. Good field position, living at and around the red zone and at the goal line where Penix Jr. can run it in because he's one of the more underrated running quarterbacks in the league. He didn't run a lot in college because he was trying to keep himself healthy so he didn't get injured again. And so he comes into the NFL, runs at the combine, runs an amazingly fast 40, and has a pylon diving touchdown run already in his short career. Things are going up. It's upward. It's magnificent. The offense is going to explode. Gibbs is still going to be the focal point of the Detroit Lions offense, no doubt about it. And even if they have struggles passing, which a lot of people think they're going to throw more, I don't necessarily agree. Even if they try to throw more, they might not be able to because Ben Johnson's gone. I don't believe Morton is we just lock him into being a offensive genius because he's dabbled in strong offenses and situations. He hasn't commanded those situations all by himself, so we don't really know what he is. I think there's hope that they continue to do a lot of the things they used to, and even if they don't and they try to run more to compensate for not having Ben Johnson to keep Goff from turning into a pumpkin, it's going to be more running for Gibbs. And I think the offensive weapons are so good in St. Brown and J-Mo and Laporta and now Tesla that you really can't, even if Goff struggles a little more than he did, and I don't think he turns completely into a pumpkin, but I think he isn't the same player. He isn't as efficient. This isn't as good of a passing attack. Goff doesn't throw as many touchdowns. St. Brown doesn't score as many touchdowns, a little regression there. J-Mo doesn't become a 1,210 wide receiver like everyone wants him to be. It still doesn't mean Goff turns into a pumpkin totally. It doesn't mean Goff doesn't stretch the field. It doesn't mean that those weapons aren't so dynamic that Gibbs gets 8-man fronts all day long. That's not going to happen. No one's saying that. But I think they might lean on the run a little more than they did. And so that's good. But the offensive changes make it so it's easy to say Bijan over Gibbs. Now, we look over in this pile of cards here, and it's pretty easy for me to put Jeanty, even in redraft, at the number 3 running back spot. Not everybody's going to agree. Some people are going to say that's too high. He's a rookie. He's never carried the ball once in the NFL, Smitty. He hasn't taken a snap. Aren't we worried about what happened with Marvin Harrison Jr.? What happened with Marvin Harrison Jr.'s got me just shaking in my boots, Smitty. Are we in the wild, wild west or what? Yeah, you're in the wild, wild west, baby. And scared money don't make money. And gunslingers don't go out there and take 5 steps forward, turn around, and sharp their pants. They fire off. And we're firing off on Jeanty on all cylinders. The flux capacitor is in motion. The gigawatts are in motion. This man, Jeanty, is taking us to the promised land. You're either on the train or you're not. You're on the train or you're not. We're not letting you on later. All you petrified Peters scared to make a move.
Hey, I'm Dom, and I drive fast cars, get hot chicks, and draft Ashton Jeanty double fist style with 2 cell phones at the same time. Why do I have 2 cell phones? One for looking up Ashton Jeanty stats all day, the other is for getting chicks.
So, Jeanty, what do I love about Jeanty? Well, I think he's really situation proof no matter where he goes, but he didn't even go to a bad spot. You've got a parrot, someone that's been listening to the other creator out there, the Mickey Mouse creator out there, that's been just saying things.
He
like,
saw it on another channel. He's a repeating Roger.
Repeating Roger. They saw it on another channel where the channel goes, oh, but it's a bad offensive line. It's a bad system. It might not work, Smitty. I don't know that I believe that this will be one of those things. Drop a parrot emoji. Drop a parrot emoji. Jeanty is, and hell yeah, Smitty, I'm doubling down on Jeanty. You better be doubling. You shouldn't even be doubling down. This is just logic. There's no doubling down. This is obvious stuff, Matt. We're doing it live. Jeanty is going to have 1,500 yards, 1,400 yards rushing. He's going to have 350 to 400 receiving. He's going to have about 1,850 to 1,950, maybe even 2,000 total yards. But let's be cautious and say 1,900 total yards. Let's say he gets a total of 15, 16, 17 touchdowns. I think he runs for at least 12, 13, maybe even 14. I think he pulls in 2 or 3. I think he pulls in 40 to 50 receptions. He's going to be one of the best receiving backs in the National Football League from day one. And those repeating Rodgers that say things over and over like, I saw it on another channel where this guy, Smitty, he doesn't catch the ball.
Channel. He's a repeating Roger.
He doesn't catch the ball, Smitty. I saw it on another channel. Okay, well, I hate to break it to you, repeating Roger, but there's some bad news. You passed on Jeanty in your rookie draft or something like that, and you didn't realize that the man had 500 receiving yards, 43 receptions, and 5 TDs during 2023. Yeah, he didn't have the most receiving yards during last season when he was busy running for 2,600 yards and 29 rushing touchdowns in one singular season. Yeah, he didn't quite have the time to do the replication of 569, 5 and 43 receptions. Guys, this is one of the best receiving backs in college that you've seen in a long time. 43, 569, and 5 makes me laugh when people say things bad about Jeanty, who had a 100-yard rushing game in every single affair last year. Second in the nation in yards per carry. First in the nation with 5.25 yards after contact. First in the nation in forced missed tackles. 49 more than second place. 49 more than second place. This man forced missed tackles. That is insane. That is insane. This is a monster. You're either on board or you're not, and it starts now. No one's letting you on this train later, in even a month from now, weeks from now. This man's going crazy at the NFL level. These are your top 3 RBs. Now, we get into like a little bit of a dangerous territory here, where we got to put Barkley here, but with the cautionary vibe and tail to say, like, look, I can't let him fall any further. Per start, he's going to be maybe even in this territory where he's 1, he's 2, he's 3. The reason he can't rank higher than Bijan, the reason he can't rank higher than Gibbs, the reason he can't rank higher than Jeanty, and the reason why I'm avoiding him and just drafting a different player and getting a different combination of players is because of the 430 carries that this man had in 2024. There's something called the 371 carry curse, which has been broken, but the 371 carry curse has been broken. It has been broken. No one's saying that that it hasn't been broken, but it's still a rarity to break this curse and have not only a good season the next year, but a good remaining career. Usually, like DeMarco Murray, there's so many running back examples. When a running back hits the 371 carries in one season, they break for their career. They break for their entire career. Not only did he have 371, he had 430 plus carries. He had 470 plus touches. No one's saying that Barkley is going to be bad per start. He could be RB1 per start. So kind of like how I should have, and I take an L on this, I should have told people to draft Mixon at cost last year when Mixon was going in steal territory, and then trade him by double-digit weeks. That would have been the best Mixon advice I could have given in all of my time doing, running back, buy and sell trade advice, because he was the number 1 running back. He was a top 5 running back, number 3 running back, number 1 running back for a majority of the year. Mixon, then he ended up disappointing just like I predicted he would. But the creative side of me should have said draft him and trade him. Now, if you can't trade him, let's say you're in a league where you draft players and you can't trade them, he would have eventually lost your league, even though we played amazingly all year. You got to be there at the end of the day. Now, Barkley may per start be running back 1 per start. There's no doubt about it in my mind that Barkley is capable of being the number 1 running back in the league per start. But with this total here, it's inevitable in my mind that he suffers some sort of injury, whether it's 2 or 3 games in the middle of the year. Then the Madden curse conversation right now, because he's being entertained for the Madden cover, which I don't know if they for sure locked it in yet or not, or if they can change it. Maybe we can get a petition going. But this is a player that running back 1 per start. No doubt about it could happen. But at the end of the day, if you can't trade, or if you understand that you got to trade him by mid-season at least to be safe, I'm okay with this ranking. But because I do expect him to get hurt, I can't rank him ahead of Bijan. I can't rank him ahead of Gibbs. I can't rank him ahead of Jeanty. But it makes sense to value him here, even if you're trading him away by mid-season. This next one is going to shock some people probably, but I think Bucky Irving is the next running back up. That puts him at running back number 5, which is coincides and is correlated to every other piece of content you've had on this channel related to Bucky. It's parallel with every line of thinking we've had on Bucky, every video drop. This is running back number 5 in 2025, in my opinion. Top 5 to 6, top 5 to 7. Could he dance around 7, 6, 5? Yeah, because the top 5 running backs could be all within 10 to 20 points. So this is going to be So why are you shocked, Mike? Mike says Bucky over Kyren? Question mark, question mark. I don't know why you're shocked. We've literally talked about Bucky the entire offseason and made this abundantly clear he's a top 5 running back. No one doesn't like Kyren, but this is a different monster. Bucky is a morph between Christian McCaffrey meets Marshawn Lynch, and it's going to be unveiled in full fashion this year. Bucky was a player that a lot of people, I think, didn't understand his season. They didn't see him fully coming. Not only did they not see Bucky's rise, but they also don't understand what Bucky really did with a short period of time. Bucky didn't get his starter carries. And if I put this over here, he didn't get his starter carries until about week number 13. So Bucky, you can see this green area, weeks 13 through 18, 25 carries. I'm even including that 4-carry game. We can't take it out. It is what it is. Don't cherry pick when you're looking at data. You look at data straight in a row. Even if you're going to take a section of it like this and try and, extrapolate this section, you have to include that. 15 carries, 16 carries, 20 carries, 19 carries. His entire green lit carry territory that's lit up right here. This guy was one of the best running backs, if not top 3 or 4 in the National Football League during this time frame. What is odd about this, again, he didn't get starter touches. He flirted with them here, 14. He had 81 and a touch. He flirted with them at 13 carries in week 10. He had 73 and a touch against the Niners. And then he just goes crazy. He goes ballistic in this green territory. Imagine what he would have done if he got starter carries before week 13. How did he finish 4th in the league in yards per carry, which you could definitely look at a per carry situation, but you got to say to yourself, okay, even though you could technically look at this and say that doesn't really affect you if you only played X number of games, he was given carries that might have not been totally in your rhythm, ready to go. You're a starter, you're getting all the reps, you're getting all the good work. He's getting some of the bad carries, some of the good carries, and he's still 4th in the league in yards per carry. He had a 41%. He was, for running back snap percentage, he was ranked 41 in the entire National Football League. He was ranked number 41 out of all the RBs and running back snap share for his team. Does anybody understand what that means? That means that Bucky wasn't even top 32. He wasn't even one of the 32 starting running backs in the National Football League in terms of getting the percentage share of running back snaps. He was below 40 other running backs in the National Football League. Yet he was top 5 in forced missed tackles. He was top 5 in yards after contact per attempt. He was top 5, and these numbers are the ones that really should impress you because he was only getting what constituted the 41st ranked running back in the league in terms of running back snap share. This guy was 12th in fantasy points in the entire NFL off of not starting very many games. He was 8th in the league in 20-plus yard runs, 30 and 30-plus yard runs, 7th in 40, 6th and 50. This is a top 5 running back. Red zone targets, 10th in the league. He only started from week 13 on. He was 10th in the National Football League in red zone targets. One of the most beautiful stats you can find for a running back. Rushing yards, 10th in the league. Didn't start until week 13. If you don't think Bucky deserves this, I don't know that I can help you, and I don't know that I want to help you.
Take a big lap. We don't need your hating ass coming back now. Take a big lap. Take one and you don't come back.
The craziest part about Bucky and his ranking and his journey and where he's at right now is his ADP is in the middle of the second to the bottom of round 2. Middle second to late second round pick. This should be a top 6, 7, 8 overall player. You mix in 3 or 4 wide receivers, you mix in 3 or 4 backs, that makes him 8 or 9. He should be 8 or 9 or 10 at the very least, and you get him in round 2. Getting Bucky Irving as your second drafted player is a gift that I can't promise you exists in August. I can't. Dylan says Christian McCaffrey is underrated. Okay. All right. Thanks, Dylan. Dylan, I think you're in 2023, my guy. I think you took the time machine brought you. Dylan, it's 2025. You need to get back into the time machine. The flux capacitor's got a glitch. Hit it a couple times, go back to 1985, then jump back to 2023. It's how you get there. Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey. It's gonna be a long show for Dylan because McCaffrey's not coming up for a while. Okay, let's actually hide McCaffrey over here. Now we're sitting here. This is where it gets dicey for me. You got Achane. You got Kyren. You got Breece Hall. You got JT. You got Derrick Henry, who's kind of in a similar boat in Barkley that you got to rank them high. You just kind of have to. But some of that's for trade value. Some of that is to understand what you're dealing with in the ADP market too. I'm gonna go Kyren here, and then I'm gonna go Achane. Where's Achane? I think I have Achane somewhere around here. Achane right there. So I'm gonna go with this. Let's stack these cards up high. They're gonna fall off the table, so we got to be careful. Barkley, Bucky. Then we're gonna go Kyren. We're gonna go Achane. Okay, so we're gonna go something like that. But let me put Achane here, and we'll talk about him in a minute. Let me put him back on the deck. Here's the thing you got to know about Kyren. I know a lot of people are going to say, but Smitty, he averaged low yards per carry. He's in the 4.1, if I remember correctly, 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, something like that, yards per carry. The year prior, he was in the top. He was 5 yards per carry. I think that what you got to understand about this offense last year is everybody got hurt. You had Puka injured. You had Cooper Kupp injured or playing badly. There was a time frame where it was all Kyren Williams. And so he faced a lot of 8-man fronts, and he still delivered. This offensive line was banged up. They measured in as the heaviest offensive line in the National Football League walking into 2024. This was going to be the number one offensive line in the league, even potentially over the Eagles. And it got injured. It got banged up. So you had an injured offensive line that was the heaviest in the league, that was supposed to be as good as any team. And then you had all these injuries. So Kyren was facing so many 8-man fronts and stacked boxes and unfair situations. It's going to be one of those things where I don't think people remember the 2023 Kyren. They just remember the 2024 Kyren. Inefficient, but fed volume to the point where he was an electric top 10 running back, even though he did it in a very slow, kind of like sluggish fashion. Well, this is going to be a different year, because you have Devontae Adams stretching defenses along with Puka Nacua, or Puka Nacua stretching defenses and cutting across the middle. Adams cutting across the middle and stretching defenses. They're both receivers that can play everywhere. So you have two players that are capable of running every single route in the route tree. They can move them all over the place. McVay's the offensive mind that can take this to the next level. There's no other QB mind, offensive mind, just architect of an offense that I can think of that could use the Puka Nacua Devontae Adams marriage better than McVay. McVay will have them all over the place, and that's going to open up the run. The amount of space that Kyren Williams is used to in the A gap, the B gap, or rushing lanes anywhere on the field are going to be this much more open. Everywhere he goes, he's going to have more wiggle room than he's ever had. This is a 5-yard per carry return for Kyren Williams in 2025. Kyren is going to the mother freaking moon. No, not the moon. Mars. No, not Mars. Saturn. No, wait, not Saturn.
To Saturn.
I think he's going. What do we have him on? I wanted to go to Jupiter.
To Jupiter.
Do we have him on the Jupiter?
Moon man. Dropping low.
Where's
The Jupiter men. Jupiter is
The Saturn Men.
One small
He's on the
step for
Saturn
man,
list.
one giant leap for Saturn.
really deserves to be on Jupiter. We'll look into that. Neither here nor there. Neither here nor there.
He's Kyren, he's 7 feet tall, and he knows how to handle a ball. He's Kyren, he can take frowns and turn them upside down with his touchdowns.
So we'll get to more Kyren in a minute, but let's go to Achane. Achane's going to be the next running back up. We got these other guys. We'll take these cards and stack them down here so they're not in the way. Achane's going to be the next best card on the board here. Let's spread these mofos out. Look at this beautiful line. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Kyren is the 6th best running back. Achane is the 7th best running back. Now, Achane, you got to ask yourself the question, and this is what makes it easy for me to say, hey, what am I thinking here? Why am I thinking it? Amazing offense, Bijan. Gibbs, great offense, but with some questions, which is why his offensive firepower situation doesn't look as good as Bijan's. Jeanty, volume, and I think better offense than people expect. Barkley, it's all about injury with him. Otherwise, he'd be right there with Bijan. Bucky, fantastic offense. Kyren, fantastic offense. Why is Achane not higher than Bucky or Kyren? Because he is tied to Tua Tagovailoa. He is tied to Miami Mike McDaniel, a head coach that is proven to be inept in so many ways. Clock management is even just one thing you can throw out there. This guy doesn't know what he's doing half the time. Great offensive mind, great offensive architect. He created Deebo Samuel's role in San Francisco, and he deployed it in Achane, an inverse version of Deebo in Miami. So we have to give Miami Mike some credit for what he's done.
Mashed potatoes!
Some credit for what he's done. No doubt about it, okay? No doubt about it. But at the end of the day, this is an offense we've seen have stutter steps and hiccups. And so because of that, we put Achane right here. But it doesn't mean that Achane doesn't tower over everybody else, because at the end of the day, Achane's dropping that kind of wattage on screen and also in your leagues on the field that is not something you see out of a running back or ever have. The 7.8 yards per carry his rookie year was the best in NFL history. And then he was asked to do all the grunt work up the gut. Take this 2-yard carry, likely carry play. Hey, this is probably going to be 3 yards per carry no matter who you are. Here, take it, Achane. Achane getting 5, 6, 7, 8 carries up the gut that are going to get you 2, 3 yards, because they're those kind of sacrifice carries where you're trying to let the defense know we will run. We will run. And those are the carries you don't want Achane getting. Take carries away from Achane, give him more efficient touches, and give him 4 to 6 receptions a game. No one should be wanting Achane to get 18 carries a game, 22 carries a game. You want 13, 14 carries a game, 4 to 6 receptions. That's 100 total yards on an efficient Achane versus a grinded out between the tackle Achane. But even getting the full-time volume up the gut last year, he stayed healthy, even though people said he wouldn't cook and that he'd get hurt. He cooked.
Let him cook.
Achane cooked, and he's going to cook this year. They drafted Ollie Gordon. I still like Wright a lot. They're going to use one of those backs, probably Ollie Gordon, up the gut to take some of those abusive 7 to 10 carries a game away from Achane, which is a blessing in disguise. Nobody wants this man getting 20 carries a game. Stop with the, he's in a committee. He's the wide back. He's a wide back. He's the inverse of a wide back. He doesn't get phased out. He can't get phased out because there are designed plays for him. Miami Mike McDaniel made this evident with Deebo, that no matter what went on around the San Francisco offense, Deebo was the focal point. Achane will continue to play wide back. It's just a matter of, do they play well? Do they get good field position? Do they game script some stuff out here and there? Are they consistent? And that's why Achane falls. But he's still a top 5 to 10 potential running back with the upside to be even top 4 or top 3. Bring it in, boys. Bring it in. Bring it in. Set her down. Don't be gentle. This man went through 17 games and didn't get hurt. No need to be gentle with Achane. Just set him right down. He's a monster. Absolute straight savage. Savage.
Achane. Achane is the man. His haters call him small.
But he is 9 feet tall.
spinach goes missing in Miami. Meatloaf prices go up across the United States.
Achane.
That's right. As you say in the chat, hide your mamas, hide the spinach, hide everything, because Achane's coming for you all. All you doubters out there. You doubters, you Donnie doubters out there. I pity you. I feel bad for you. Now, this next one's going to be really, really, really upsetting to people that aren't living on this channel every day. They're going to get so mad at this prediction. They're going to think your boy's crazy. We might even see the views dip about 10, 15 people right when I drop this on screen. RJ Harvey is going to be the next best running back in 2025. You can either be on board. I don't care. I'm trying to warn as many people as I can. But if it's something that you can't, absorb or take in, or you just can't accept it, I don't really care. I'm going to be as loud as I can. The people that listen. The people that don't. Now, if I had $1 for every time I was crazy for ranking JD5 as a rookie where I ranked him, Smitty, he can't be as good as you say he's going to be. This is insane, Smitty, that you like JD5. He's got the little bump on his elbow, Smitty. He's too small. There's no way he's going to be as good as you say as a rookie. The Washington offensive line is bad, Smitty. How is he going to do well with that? What did I tell you? Harvey is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, running back 8. This feels insulting. He really can be as good as this territory. Wouldn't shock me at all if Kyren and Achane were right here and Harvey were right here, to be quite frank and honest with you. That wouldn't shock me at all. That would not shock me at all. I'm not going to do it because these guys deserve this respect. I might do it. I don't know. I might do it by the end of the show. I might do it by the end of the show. You don't know.
Let him cook.
Who knows? In fact. The most wanted outlaw.
Wanted. The top most wanted outlaws. These outlaws are on the run. Wanted. The top most wanted outlaws are on the run. Dead or alive. Well, I'm your Huckleberry.
So, here we are, Harvey. Now, you can say what you want about Harvey. I really don't care if you're upset about this or this doesn't tickle your fancy. That's no problem. There's plenty of people out here ready to draft Harvey with a smile. Let me tell you one thing about this 5'9", 208-pound monster that probably plays at like 215 in the NFL. Number 60th pick by the Denver Broncos, which is second-round draft capital. I don't want to hear, but Hampton has first round. Doesn't matter. Second-round draft capital is no different than end of the first or whatever you want to argue, because this is Sean Payton's guy. He admittedly would have taken him in round 1 if he felt like he need to. They took the gamble. He was actually shaking in his boots because he thought maybe he'd get scooped up. The Denver Broncos didn't pick until the 60 pick in the NFL draft. So this was right here, Harvey at 60 overall. They really held their breath when the Chicago Bears were on the clock at 39, didn't take him. The Chicago Bears were on the clock at 56 and didn't take him. And then the Chicago Bears were on the clock at 62, and they were planning on taking Harvey, but he wasn't there. You know why? Because Sean Payton said, take a lap.
Take a big lap. We don't need your hating ass coming back now. Take a big lap. Take one and you don't come back.
So here we are, Wild West style. Harvey, where was I? Harvey board. We're looking at the Harvey board. Where we're doing it live on the Harvey board. One of the most impressive things, and I've talked about this a handful of times, if you don't take anything in, take this in. Take this in, okay? Come in close. Harvey is a play mother freaking maker. Look at this long category right here. Rushing 2024. 232 attempts, 6.8 yards a carry, 1577. 22 rushing touchdowns and a long of 80. The year prior, a long of 92. The year prior, a long of 61. 2024 at the bottom of this screen. I'll use this circle here, this red circle. 2024, 267 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns. 238 the year prior, 2 touchdowns. This is under 40 receptions. The man had 5 touchdowns. He had a long of 75 in 2024, a long of 80 on the ground, a long of 75 receiving. The year prior, a long of 50 receiving. This is a playmaker, and he moves like Alvin Kamara, looks like Alvin Kamara on the field. If you were getting wings across the, let's say you were sitting there and you were like, hey, I'm going to go get a bowl of a wing refill or some potato chips over on the counter here, and you're way over on the counter, way over here. Can you guys hear me okay? Testing. Okay. Way over, and you're looking straight across to the TV, way across the way, and you see this guy going, just moving all around, left and right, like Alvin Kamara, just left and right, one cut, jumping, looking like an amazing balanced man. Contact balance is through the roof. You would think you're looking at Alvin Kamara. If you put on Alvin Kamara's jersey, other than the hair, maybe you put the hair on too, you would think it's Alvin Kamara. This is McVay's recreated the past. He got in the time machine, in the DeLorean. He set it for Alvin Kamara's rookie year, and he's gone back in time and grabbed him and brought him into the future. And someone's going to say, Smitty, he's 24 years old. He's too old, Smitty. He's too old. Let me tell you something. 24 years old doesn't matter to me. Leave him for me. I could care less. He's got a 5 to 6 to maybe 7 year, let's call it 6-year window of playing football until what, 29? You don't think this guy could play football till 29 years old when he got a late start? I don't think so. You think what you want. 24, I'll take him in Dynasty. You rather have a player that's 22, I'll take him in Dynasty. I got a 5 to 6 year shelf life with maybe one of the better up-and-coming running backs we've seen come out of college in the last 5 years. Jeanty's obviously number one, okay? Number one player maybe to ever come out at the position. But Harvey is a hidden gem monster. This is the BT of 2025 at the running back position. This is Brian Thomas when all things are said and done at the running back position when we reflect back and look at this thing. You're going to miss this. You're going to be so mad at yourself. There's nothing but volume here. There's nothing but opportunity here. Sean Payton said that he's going to be in designed receiving plays already, which tells you that he's going to be an every down back. They've said he could be an every down back. He will be an every down back. And by all estimations, ain't doing nothing to take that away from him. There's nobody there to compete with him. This estimate fascination with some people is really merely on the fact that they own Estime in 5 dynasty leagues and they don't know what else to do. So they scream it from the rooftops. What about Estime? What about Estime? And people see it in the comments, just like you see an Amazon review where you're like, good review, 5 out of 5 stars. And the one person goes, this extension cord burned my house down. And then nobody wants it anymore. That's what that person is trying to do to you. Don't let them do it to you. Don't let one Estime owner or one Harvey doubter or one person that hates 24-year-old running backs as rookies and says, oh, this guy's not going to be good. The likelihood of a 24-year-old running back with second-round draft capital isn't as good as Hampton in round 1. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Harvey's coming for everybody. You're either on board or you're not. I really don't care. For those that don't know, we made him a supernova well before any of this was even known. Where you knew he was going, what was going on. This is Harvey season, baby.
There are handfuls of Saturn, Mars, and Moon men, but only 8 can be supernovas. I give you the 8 best picks in fantasy football. They are the 8 supernovas. They are the 8
BTJ, CD Lamb, Hunter,
the hateful 8
RJ Harvey.
I'm looking at the 8.
You're looking at the 8 if you didn't know.
The magnificent 8.
Liftoff of mission 41D, the first flight of the orbiter.
See, what you're going to see, and no offense, you guys did it to yourselves. You're the ones that put this out there, so it's on you. But Kegs, who I don't recognize, no offense. It's always somebody that we don't recognize. I don't think Peyton can coach modern running backs. Why? Why, Kegs? What evidence do you have? Why don't you step forward and support that? Last year, because Estime and McLaughlin and even Javonte, admittedly, wasn't himself yet. And still, this is the first time he says he's ever felt 100%. What was he supposed to do? He tried out all of his RBs. They weren't his RBs that he drafted or consumed necessarily. And so, there was no elite talent, at least, that he consumed. So what's he supposed to do? Just because he rotated garbage, he's supposed to what? Commit to one of them? He was doing his best with what he had? Unbelievable. Unbelievable, bro. Bringing nothing to the table, no offense. And you're more than welcome to call in and try and argue something, but it's not going to work. It's not going to work. There's nothing there. You have no ammunition whatsoever. I already know. Harvey to the moon, running back number 7 or 8. He's ranked 8 on this board. Let's move on to the next RB, and we'll speed things up a little bit. This is not going to, I think, tickle everybody's fancy. I know a lot of people want JT here. I know a lot of people want other RBs to land here. I know people are saying, where's CMC? Where's Henry? But at the end of the day, this running back is going to be my next running back off the board. Some of you are going to be able to predict this. Breece Hall. I think he has a magnificent bounce back season under the command of Justin Fields under center. This is a offense that's going to, yes, check down a lot. Oh, but Smitty, with Fields there, he's going to vulture. Fields was one of the best check down artists in the league last year. And in fact, I think he was in the top 2 or 3 in NFL quarterbacks, at least top 5, if my memory serves me correct, in the league in checking down to the RB. And let's just admit that when we close our eyes and envision Fields and the breakout season he was supposed to have in Chicago, remember when he threw a short pass to DJ Moore that was a screen pass at the line of scrimmage, and DJ Moore took it for a touchdown? Then the next play, he threw a screen pass to, I believe it was Herbert. Herbert took it for a touchdown. Both 50-plus yard plays, the only 2 plays that Fields had. Fields loves to check the ball down. So anybody that thinks Hall's not going to get 50-plus, 60-plus, maybe even 70 receptions in this offense, they're crazy. And if anybody thinks that there's a committee here, there's no committee here. They're just going to run the ball more than probably any team in the National Football League, which is to the tune of 450, 470, 465. And Breece Hall is only a 200 carry per season running back. So what's he supposed to do? Gobble up 470 carries? He's only going to get not even half of those. So someone else has to run the ball to the tune of 180 carries. Someone else needs 40 or 50. That's the nature of when you run the ball more than anybody in the league. To suggest that Breece Hall lives in a committee is nonsense, and it's reckless. It's lazy. It's a lazy take. This is one of the most explosive running backs in the National Football League. And you can say what you want, think what you want, but Breece Hall is going to do a hell of a job.
Get Breece.
Breece Hall is 8 foot tall. He will always answer the mother freaking call. Don't let him fall.
Let's move on. This is where it's going to get dicey again. JT, Jacobs, Chase Brown. Hard to really rank this territory. You got James Cook. I get it. You got McCaffrey. A lot of you still think McCaffrey is going to be elite. I think per start there's a chance he delivers goodness, but at the same time it's hard to rank him there. I think JT's hard to pass up right here. JT and Chase Brown are a real close next man up. Derrick Henry as well. I kind of look at this grouping here as like almost a three-way tie. I think Henry per start would be your guy, but again, I think he misses time, and there's some point where he does fall off this year. Chase Brown is so electric, but is there concern about this team dialing things back at times or trying different things out? Because keep in mind that they had more top 30 interviews than most other teams with RBs, and they didn't draft one, but they're still very much looking to add more. They made it appear. What if they're going to trade for Walker? What if they're going to trade for there's a lot of running backs, ETN. There's other running backs that fit the bill as potential trade pieces for a team like the Bengals. You never know. I think that if he escapes any of that, which is low likelihood of happening, and we hear some sort of doubling down by the coaching staff that he'll be the guy, and we know he'll be the guy. He's explosive, but that moves him ahead slightly. But right now he's kind of in a three-way tie with Henry and JT. And I'm going to put JT on screen right here. So that's kind of the way I look at this stack right here. It's almost like a very even Steven combo of players right there. Love all of them to a degree. JT, looked great at the end of the year. No one was more explosive, or no one was more fantasy friendly than JT at the end of the year, but there was a lot of other stuff that was very alarming for JT's season. And just the certain metrics that he had on the season were concerning in terms of the wiggle room and space he was able to create for himself. It was just, and it's a bad environment right now where you don't know who the quarterback is. Is it Danny Dimes? We know how Barkley's tenure was under Danny Dimes. It wasn't great. So Taylor's got a lot of concern, and AR5 goes in there. How's that look? How's the ball move down the field? Do they matriculate down the field into the red zone very often? Do they live way outside the red zone full time? Does JT have to get all of his touchdowns on breakaway runs? So there's certainly concerns there. I think next up, when you get to this point, you got Henry off the board. You've got, let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. I got Henry off the board, JT off the board, Jacobs, Hampton, Henderson, Cook. What are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we got 3 more players. Jacobs is probably going to be in the mix here. The reason Jacobs is so low, and keep in mind there were very few, if any, people higher on Jacobs than this channel walking into last year. He's taken a beating. He's taken a beating over the years. So you could say my prediction here is that there's some breakdown. There's also going to be, I think, no step forward again for the Green Bay Packers. I think they struggle. I think Jordan Love is on the struggle bus until he proves otherwise. I think you could put McCaffrey here as well, in that, per start, you might see him score like that. The thing that I think here, even with Kamara, this is just a very cloudy environment and situation here. Jacobs, McCaffrey, Kamara, everyone's going to get mad at my Jacobs take, but I'm predicting injury. You can you can do what you want. You can get mad at that if you want. That's fine. That's the one thing that you're allowed to do. What you're not allowed to do is pretend you know over me or I know over you. Neither one of us know. I do know I have a pretty good track record of this stuff. So if I'm telling you I'm worried about Jacobs, you might want to listen. I'm not saying you got to react, but you might want to at least listen. The next up would be, so like, I really think that Hampton at some point plays around this territory, but he is sharing carries right now. So you got to put him in this group here, where there's 4 cards stacked right there on top of each other in somewhat of a tie. What I think ends up happening is, do I have Henderson? Where's Henderson? Did I not make a Henderson card yet? I may have not made a Hendy card. Yeah, I do. I have to have a Hendy card. Here it is. Henderson, I believe, is the lead dog of this stacked up group. So Hampton, Hendy, McCaffrey, Jacobs, Kamara, it's all a tight bunch. You can be mad all you want. You can be mad all you want about Jacobs, McCaffrey being there. This is where I think Hendy kind of lives. And per start, once he's fully, full go, full send, woven into the offense, he starts producing like this. And this is where Hendy ends up kind of floating. So Henry probably gets injured. Jacobs misses some time. McCaffrey misses some time. Hampton climbs up and plays in this territory here. Hendy climbs up and plays in this territory here. And at the end of the day, I believe that Henderson has more value than Chase Brown at some point during the season. I think Chase Brown's that's not to diminish Chase Brown's value. That's to try and speak to how well and how good Henderson will eventually get going on his horse. Harvey will be going from Jump Street, producing monster stats, more likely to hit a rookie wall than Henderson. Henderson will probably hit some sort of mental rookie wall, but it'll be a lot shorter. Every running back will probably hit a rookie wall. Some of it is mental. It's exhausting playing a college or an NFL season as in relation to a college season. There's a lot of mental reps. There's a lot of mental overload. So I do think no matter what, you hit a rookie wall. But if Henderson starts a little later, and I'm not saying that much later, it's just in week 4 or 5, is he getting every single touch that they can give him? And then he's playing this good. He's playing near 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right around running back 8, 9. Wouldn't even shock me if Harvey and Hendy were neck and neck in points per game once Hendy gets going. Breece Hall still right there. Again, Chase Brown's concerns all relate to how committed the team is to this guy being their guy. And you can argue with me and say, Smitty, you love Chase Brown. I still love him. But can you explain why the team has said we want to give him less carries? They didn't, but they wanted to. Can you explain why the team said we want to draft a rookie running back really high, and they visited with more running backs in top 30 visits than most teams in the National Football League? Can you explain any of those things? And until you can, he floats in this territory. Henderson, Harvey, Hall, Achane, Kyren. If I had to tier off my favorite RBs after Hendy takes over, it's really that Hendy, Hall, Harvey, Achane, Kyren, Bucky, Barkley, Jeanty, Gibbs, Bijan. Not that Chase Brown can't climb in it. Not saying that. Not that Hampton can't climb into it. But this is my favorite group of RBs in 2025. Some of it is bold. Some of it is ahead of the curve. Some of it won't be, I think, understood, and some of it might not land, but some of it won't be understood until later. Imagine me coming in here last year and putting JD5 as QB 2 or 3. It would feel really out of place. So for me to put Hendy and Harvey dancing in this territory where they're arguably the 8th best running back in the league is going to be uncomfortable until it's not. It's going to seem uncomfortable until it's not. I don't think I missed anybody. I think I explained the Hendy and Harvey and Hall situation. Really stacked those 3 cards on top of each other right here in the corner, Harvey, Hendy, Hall. And I don't think I missed anybody. You got Chuba Hubbard, who deserves to be in the mix. Alvin Kamara, James Cook. I get James Cook is going to be upsetting to see people. People will be mad at me that I didn't put James Cook in this mix. He's certainly in this area. I just didn't put him there yet. He's stacked up on that card of kind of it's kind of a grab bag there. We've got who else was it that I didn't put on here yet that I mentioned? We got James Cook, Kenneth Walker, but the reason Kenneth Walker and Sharps together I could rank really high, but I worry about Walker not being healthy. I worry about Chuba Hubbard a little bit not being healthy, but just because I don't know, call it a gut instinct, but I just feel like Chuba, very, very fun player. Very, very exciting player to draft in best ball, but I find myself pumping the brakes in leagues where I have to pass on some of these other running backs. I just can't. I can't rank him over Hampton. I can't rank Chuba Hubbard over Chase Brown. I can't rank him over Taylor. I don't have his card. I think I might have not transferred him on my computer, so I don't think I have Chuba here, so I can't even put Chuba on the board. But if I had to put Chuba on the board, I'd put him right in the stack of Jacobs, Kamara, Cook, and McCaffrey. And again, Henry escapes this group a little bit because I think there's a little more likely chance of him having a healthy season than Christian McCaffrey. Why? Last time we've seen McCaffrey, he was injured. The last time we saw Derrick Henry, he was not injured. He's been playing amazing. So he has more of a chance of trying to say you're wrong, and he plays like this I mean, there's that chance, but am I taking that chance and drafting Henry over Kyren, over Achane, over Harvey, over Hall or Henderson? Maybe Hall or Henderson. Maybe it ends up like this. It's possible, but I just think he's going to miss some time. I think McCaffrey, Henry, I'd rather jump a year early, and you could have said that about Henry 2 years ago. I get it, but each year independently is different. I'd rather jump a year early on Henry. We already jumped a year early on Christian McCaffrey, and we nailed that. I'd rather jump a year early on Jacobs. I'd rather jump a year early on Cook. And Kamara's 30 years old. I mean, he barely did it last year at 29, but he did it. Kudos to him. But I want to get out of these older running backs, even in 2025 redraft. The Fantasy Football Show phone lines are open. Dial in, dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in, dial in, dial in. We will discuss anything you think is out of place, anything you like, anything you don't like. I love the conversation. I get some people aren't going to be happy. I understand that. It doesn't bother me at all. And the truth is, this stuff's going to even change for me. We're going to have a lot of things move around even for me, walking into the coming weeks and months, especially months. But the coming weeks, you will see if I go back to this board, even 7 days from now, even 2 days, even tomorrow, if I go back to this list tomorrow, guess what? It's going to be different. And if anybody thinks I'm going to look at an Excel sheet and be an Excel sheet Eric content creator and go, he's my 24th ranked player at the position, like as if I could just tell you that one day from the next. Honestly, the honest truth is no one's ever going to have somebody ranked the same unless they've ranked it and locked it in and they don't have a brain anymore moving forward for the rankings or for players or for any of this stuff. You literally 3 weeks from now should not have the same ranking. I don't care if nothing changed. You literally should not have the same ranking because we're human beings, and being honest, you're going to flow with the wind. You got to stay liquid. You got to stay loose. You might have a different vibe about Breece Hall or Chase Brown or anything without even hearing news. You just kind of go through the motions in a draft and you say, you know what, I drafted Breece Hall at 4.1 and I liked it. Or I drafted Breece Hall at 4.1 and I didn't like it. Or, hey, I took a gamble on Henry this year and I actually liked it. There's all kinds of things that can move this stuff around. So if you think this won't change tomorrow, in even my eyes, you're crazy. Let me go to the first phone caller that's been sitting there. 901, what's your name and where are you calling from? Hello?
Hey, how's it going, Smitty? It's Mike. Yeah, I'm here. Mike from San Diego.
What's up?
Yeah, no, man. I just wanted to get your opinion on this from more of a dynasty standpoint. I know you're talking best ball, but for guys like Henry, who you have in dynasty, how are you handling that?
This isn't, by the way, this isn't best ball. This isn't best ball. I haven't mentioned best ball maybe once during the whole rankings. This is redraft.
Okay, my apologies.
Yeah, but best ball, best balls, there's some ins and outs that change. But from a dynasty perspective, Bucky moves ahead of Barkley. Kyren moves ahead of Barkley. Achane maybe moves ahead of Kyren, but still behind Bucky. Barkley falls all the way off and out of the top 10. Harvey and Hendy and Hall and Chase Brown and Hampton all climb above Barkley. So that's kind of how it would go. I think, JT kind of stays where he is and people just move around him. I think Hampton moves up with Chase Brown, Hall, and even Hall moves up a little bit. I think as Hall moves up ahead of Barkley and kind of right next to Kyren, because I look at Hall and Kyren as having the same kind of shelf life, a couple years more, but that's enough in Dynasty. I look at Kyren and Hall having that. I see Hendy, Chase Brown, and Harvey moving all above in front of Hall and Kyren just because of the longevity factor. But from the standpoint of Bijan, Gibbs, Jeanty, Bucky, which would be my top 4, it's just a matter of putting Harvey, Hendy, Hall, and Achane up, snug up against them and just moving everyone down respectively.
Got you. I wanted to ask your opinion also from a dynasty standpoint on how you would handle Henry. I know he's older, he's harder to sell, but he's also tough to sell because you think he's going to be good. So,
I mean, getting rid of Henry's impossible, bro. I have him in one league. I haven't been able to get rid of him for 2 years, and I've won championships in that league by not trading him. But I would have traded him if I could have.
What do you think the floor is for him?
The floor is yeah, actually I did, didn't I? I got it from Bucky, didn't I? I got Bucky. What did I trade? What did I trade?
It was Henry in the first, and another pick for Bucky.
Yeah, that's what I did. So try that. I mean, the thing is, I haven't been able to get rid of him in another league, and nobody will even listen. So I guess I'm 1 for 2 on getting rid of him. But the truth is, bro, I mean, other than that, going after another doubted player like Bucky, and he's not doubted by everybody, but maybe his owner's fearful that he's going to break up with him before he breaks up before he's able to do it, first. That's the way people are. Harvey's older. If, somebody drafted Harvey, they're reading, he's 24. They're reading some stuff. There's a guy in one of my drafts that drafted Harvey, and he's like, now he's kind of scared, I think, of owning him. And I'm not saying I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong, and he'll be right. I doubt it, but I'm going after Harvey because of that fear factor. I think, what you end up doing, bro, is you end up just trying to get somehow, some way, using Henry as gravy in a trade to upgrade something massively. I think at the end of the day, you almost have to give Henry and something to just get one player that you think is right around where, the slightly best player in the deal is, that has more longevity. So example, you get rid of, let's say you got rid of Henry and a wide receiver like T. Higgins to go get, a BTJ or somebody that you think can be, even if it's slightly below, like even London, if you think London's going to be able to be that good for a long period of time. I'm not saying London's the best answer. I'm just trying to give you an example of go get the best player in a deal. London's obviously better than T. Higgins. And what can you get back? A second rounder for Henry in that 2-for-2 swap. But you just got to kind of make sure you go big and swing big to get rid of Henry. You probably can't do a 1-for-1 swap. You just can't. I don't think you'll get as lucky as I did getting Bucky, especially at this point. Bucky's value has gone up since I made that. You what?
I flipped Josh Jacobs for him in January. So
yeah, but now, now I don't think Bucky was kind of he was kind of not an afterthought, but a doubted player. Now he goes in the second round, and he's just he even went higher a few weeks, like a month ago. But Bucky's hard to trade for. Breece Hall is a good one because I think he's his 4.1 ADP in redraft and Henry's second round ADP in redraft give me some hope that you could find someone in a dynasty mindset that views Hall as later than 4.1, because you kind of can't, like I said in today's video that I have, you kind of can't have Hall at 4.1 in redraft and have him higher in dynasty. Like, you're clearly telegraphing that Hall's 4.1 ADP, everyone in the world is worried about him this year. So what, they're not worried about him next year? So you could almost say Hall's a 4.5 to 5.1 dynasty ADP. And so does Henry fall from the second round to past round 5 in a dynasty startup? Maybe not. So maybe you can trade for Hall. And even if you have to give up, let's say, a couple second rounders or 1 second rounder to get that swap done, that's something I would consider. All right, bro. Appreciate you calling in. Thanks for the call. Travis, you're live.
Yeah, just like when you're ranking it, it's like ranked like 18 or even 10 to 20. It's so hard.
Yeah.
All the guys. There's really like 25 guys that rank top 20. You can argue for a top 20 spot. That feels that like have to own 2 backs until you know what's going on. Like Seattle, Jags, Steelers, Giants, Kings. Like there's a lot of backfield like that.
And not only that, though, it's a good point, is that even with the backfield sorting itself out, even if you don't want to own the entire backfield, like in the case of Henderson, Ramondre is not important to me at all. I don't need him. I almost never, if I ever have, drafted Stevenson because I drafted Henderson. I just drafted Henderson. But in that, you are waiting for the backfield to sort itself out more than you are with Harvey, which is why when you're ranking, and I tried to give 2 different perspectives, it's like the beginning of the year, Henderson might be trailing JT, Chase Brown, might be him and Hampton both might be trailing. Henry's going to be looking like he's, Harvey's spot. I think Henry might even be up here with Achane, at number 7, 8 overall. But it just depends on how you look at it. At the end of the day, I do believe Henry rises up, Henry falls, McCaffrey falls, Jacobs falls, Hampton rises, JT stays where he is, but everybody's moving up, so he just naturally looks like he's falling. And then Henry comes and lives right next to Harvey. And Breece Hall, is doing good all year. He's steady Eddie, but he doesn't move below Henry. Henry just moves above him. So I think at the end of the day, you got to look at that and understand and be ready for Henry to maybe not have as big of a rookie wall as maybe Harvey could. Not that Harvey will for sure have a rookie wall. Maybe his age and experience and playing as long as he has makes it so he doesn't hit a rookie wall. There's a lot of things to consider, but Henry to me is just a guy you gotta prepare for that maybe slow start. Henry might be the one player that we're trading for more than any other player walking out of weeks 1, 2, 3, and everyone's like, this is a trash heap. Remember Gibbs? Remember when Gibbs was? People were so mad at me saying I was so wrong on Gibbs. They're going to lose their league because of what I said about Gibbs. Gibbs right here on this bottom row. Gibbs 36, running back 36, running back 20, running back 25, running back 25, didn't play. People unsubscribed. I had people tell me left and right, I'm unsubscribing from your channel. I drafted Gibbs in the late second round and I'm going to lose my league because of you. And then they came back and said, never mind. 3, running back 1, running back 2, running back 3, running back 3, running back 3. So Henry could have a very similar path. I hope it doesn't take till week number 7. I'm not saying that it will. I'm just merely saying this could be one of those things where in weeks 1, 2, and 3, we've got some panic Peters that are like, he got 40 yards and 1 touchdown 1 week, and he got 55 yards and no touchdowns the next week, and 45 yards and no touchdowns the next week. And he's entering week 4, and all of a sudden he just goes crazy and ballistic. We'll be here for that. We'll be telling you to draft him. And this is why I'm having this lingering conversation of Henry going here to here at some point during the year. Hopefully early.
Yeah. We had a couple super chats. I don't know.
Yeah, let me hit those real quick. Garrett says CMC or Harvey. Come on, Garrett. Please don't say something dumb. Here. I won't say anything, Garrett. I'll just press a button for you.
Take a big laugh.
Jeez. G-Dog, appreciate you. Just got to say thanks for the great content every day and night, Smitty. Hit that like button. Guys, you guys like the Dynasty content that's on this channel now? For those that don't know, the Dynasty content has moved officially, all of it, to the Fantasy Football Show YouTube channel. I'm no longer having it separate. And I'm not saying I moved all the old content here, but all Dynasty content moving forward is created on this channel. So I created the first Dynasty video, uploaded it before this live stream. Go check that video out. It is it's like a little mailbag of Dynasty questions. Go check that out. And then the Dynasty channel is now changed to Fantasy Football Unplugged. If you're already subscribed to the old Dynasty channel, you don't have to do anything different. But this is going to be a behind the scenes / just an amazing unplugged version of this brand and the show. So you're going to not want to miss they're going to be like vlogs. They're going to be behind the scenes. It's going to be when a player does sign in it, like Aaron Rodgers, and it takes forever. Like, what's the process and what do I really think about it? I'm going to give fantasy advice kind of in there, but it's going to be a lot of my day and things that are going on. It's going to be an awesome way for me to have a little bit different fun with the channel. And so the Dynasty channel has changed into that channel, Fantasy Football Unplugged. And then the Fantasy Football Show has all of the content, the Dynasty, the redraft, everything's going to be on this channel. Kind of like it's been anyway. We do Dynasty content on here anyway. But all of it's here, and I just dropped a Dynasty video. So let me know if you guys like that Dynasty video that I already dropped. Let me hit these super chats real quickly. G-Dog says, gotta say thanks. Oh, he just said all that. Thank you. Hit that like button, says G-Dog. How dare you, says, if Hunter and BTJ are desirable, then Trevor Lawrence is a top what? Chubb and Dobbins signing will throw wrenches in certain teams. Watch out. I think J.K. Dobbins probably goes to Chicago, so it doesn't throw much of a wrench into anything. And I think Nick Chubb He could go to Chicago, who knows, but Nick Chubb is not the same player, bro. Nick Chubb's throwing a wrench in nothing. He looks slow. He's jumping very high, and he's lifting lots of weights, but he was on the field. He looked like Christian Okoye, 10 years after Okoye retired, when he was running around on the field. Nick Chubb ain't doing nothing. But J.K. Dobbins could be a problem for the rookie running back. What's his name? Monangai. I think Monangai is going to be, Monangai is going to be probably the sleeper to own in that Chicago backfield. They like him a lot, but I don't know that. We'll see. JK's, I wouldn't say it'd be a problem. It's not a very good running back room necessarily, so it's a good fit for JK to go there if he does go there. BBQ, appreciate your super chat. Broncos offense loaded with talent. Nick, Sutton, Ingram, best run blocking unit. Harvey drafted to fit the scheme. Take the discount and get a running back one at current ADP. Value who has no competition. 100%. It's so funny to me that my Harvey predictions are even bold. It's like, it's like my JD5 predictions. My JD5 stuff was so bold, and I'm sitting here going, I almost feel like bad. It was like obvious, so obvious. I'm like, JD5, it's the most obvious thing I've ever said. And for some reason, it was the boldest content that I've ever really dropped from a certain perspective. How are you so confident on Harvey after Javonte? What does Javonte have to do with anything, Maximum? What does one man have to do with another man? Just because these other running backs didn't step up. Harvey is Sean Payton's guy. He drafted him specifically. He was giddy and gushing about drafting him. He never felt that about Javonte. Javonte was handed to him. This is not the same thing. Nor should you be looking at the past to talk about the future. Would Doc Brown do that, or would he just get in a DeLorean and head to go get the Gray's Book Sports Almanac? Look at it where it says Harvey has 1,500 total yards, 1,600 total yards, and 14 touchdowns and 43 receptions, and head back to 2025 and drop a wager on it. Doc Brown's not messing around with what you're talking about. He's getting in the DeLorean, getting the Almanac, getting back and taking care of business. So I'm going to say, even though it's a super chat.
Take a big laugh. We don't need your hand.
No, I didn't mean to say we don't need you coming back. That part I tried to cut off in time. I do want you coming back, Maximum. You know you're my boy, Blue. But sometimes I got to be hard on you when something like that comes up. It's just for your own good. I don't want you not coming back. I tried to cut that off. Okay, go ahead, Travis.
It's another point on that. I was looking at the committee they were 4 backs who got the most touches, and he still managed to get the right guys out there at the right time. To have like 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns, and like 4.2 yards per touchdown. Even with a crap room of committee, they weren't that bad of a run team after all.
Yeah.
So Peyton, that's such a picture. Also, I think it was how dare you asked what you thought Trevor Lawrence would be as a QB fantasy.
I'm just kidding, Maximum.
Hunter and BT.
Yeah, sorry, that was a good question. I mean, at the end of the day, we broke it down, and if BT has 14 touchdowns, and Travis Hunter has 11 or 12, you're still talking about a guy that throws a couple here, throws a couple there. Like he could finish with 29, 27. It makes him a good quarterback, but it doesn't make him a lock for like 40 touchdown passes. And even if he's throwing 1,000 yards even, and let's say Hunter, I think Hunter could be a more of a jet sweep threat in Liam Cohen's offense, just because he didn't run the ball at the college level. You got to consider what Liam Cohen's going to do is throw the ball to him, but behind the quarterback potentially, which counts as a run. And so there's all kinds of things that are going to factor into his rushing stats. But there's a world where he has 10 receiving touchdowns, 1 or 2 rushing, 200 yards, or 150 rushing, even if it's 105 rushing, whatever, it's another 10 points. And then he has, maybe 1,100 or 1,000 yards even, or 1,050. And then you got BTJ who has, let's just call it 1,400 yards or something. I mean, that's still well under 3,000 that he has. So it's not like T Law has to be the number 5 quarterback for both BT and for Travis Hunter to be like number 13 or number 12 in Travis Hunter and number 6 in BTJ. Like, we've seen it before. So I like him, though. I like Trevor Lawrence's bouncing back. I just think that Liam Cohen's done an amazing job so far, but his big miss and whiff was not drafting Shedeur Sanders as a backup plan without being afraid of a shadow that he might cast over Trevor Lawrence, who wouldn't be the guy if that shadow took, Lawrence out of the lineup. So I think that was a big mistake, because that would have been such an amazing safety net for this team to have the two paired back together, Travis Hunter and Shedeur, on this roster. It was what we kind of concocted early on, saying, I believe the team that drafts Hunter will also draft Shedeur if he falls. And he did fall, and it didn't happen because they were scared. All right, let me go around the phone line real quickly, Travis, 1 second. Next up is, let's see, Bruce, and then over to Justin. Bruce, you're live.
Yeah, I got a question. The Broncos were looking at like ETN and Chubb, like Peyton's trying to recreate Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara, and he has Alvin Kamara.
There's no legit news on that. I don't know where you're hearing that, but there's someone probably saying, what if? What if he took this guy? Or what if ETN's available? What if he took this guy? I don't think they have any interest in trading for ETN. Not to mention, if you traded for ETN, he would need an extension, and they're not interested in paying a running back money when they just drafted RJ Harvey, who's an every down back. They have no use for him. I think that's a bunch of hogwash. And I would have done a live stream on it, Bruce, if it was true. So no. No, Bruce. No.
Yeah.
No. Okay, next question.
Oh, man, I'm scared.
Nope. You would have seen me live. If it was true, Bruce, I would have been live on it. Or even if it was big enough to report, I would have been live on it to shoot it down. But it wasn't even, it's not even something that's floating around. I mean, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen anything of the sort. I'll even do a little quick dive on Travis Etienne. Go ahead. Next question.
Oh no, it was just with Chubb or because it was supposed to be Chubb or Etienne, so he can read.
Chubb is not even good enough to be the number 2 running back on the Denver Broncos. So that is not even a question. It's not even a legit question. ETN, I see nothing about it anywhere of any substance, unless it's some Mickey Mouse, Twitter account pretending that they have information which they don't. There's nothing on ETN being moved to the Denver Broncos. It's legit. And Chubb is not a threat of any kind to RJ Harvey. Chubb barely is moving out there on the field. He's jumping up in the air, which was impressive. I put it on my Instagram. It was really impressive. His big high, he's jumping really high in the gym. He's lifting massive weights, 600 pounds or whatever the hell it is, squatting. But that's not cutting. Chubb is so far away from even being ready to take on the full workload, nor is he going to get the full workload anywhere he goes. He's going to be regulated to a backup running back that might get a shot to prove he's still got goal line potential left. But a team like the Broncos has RJ Harvey, who has quads as big as Saquon Barkley, and he scored 22 rushing touchdowns last year in college. He's an explosive player. They have zero interest in Chubb. I mean, could they sign him as a backup?
Isaiah?
Sure, I suppose, but I don't see it. What? Go ahead.
My last one is: do you think Isaiah Pacheco has any?
I think he does, because he's falling so far. But I'd rather just draft Brashard Smith if it's a deep league. But I've been taking Pacheco a little more than normal, which means like 1 time out of 10 instead of 0 times out of 10. Or no, not even that. 1 time out of 25, probably. Like not even 5%. I'm just taking him once in a while if he falls really, really late. Sometimes I'll pair him with Brashard Smith, but even that, you don't really know. What if Hunt becomes the guy for another half a season? And it's like, I don't know. I like Pacheco. I remember how good he was. I remember how much we liked him And then when I see him sitting there in double-digit rounds, sometimes it's an intriguing thought. But then I see like another player there. Like I see Dak Prescott, and I haven't got a backup quarterback in best ball yet. And I'm like, I'll just take Dak Prescott because I got CeeDee Lamb. And so one thing leads to another, and I just never end up taking him. But there's some intrigue. All right, hold on one second, Bruce. Mute yourself real quick. Let me go over to Justin. Justin, you're live.
Yeah, I've been thinking really hard about it, and I was thinking on how we felt about all the running backs coming before the draft. I think people are overthinking Travion Henderson. Like, I think he needs to be drafted every time people have the opportunity at 65 while he's still at 65. Because
we are. We're not. How are we overthinking? How are we overthinking Henderson?
Go ahead.
How are we overthinking Henderson? We're talking him left and right, drafting him everywhere. Like how you say that almost you say
that's easy. I'm not saying us as in our community specifically.
Okay.
I'm saying like broader scope of underdog. Like I think he needs to be in the 50s, or like if he was in the 40s, I wouldn't even say that's ridiculous. I've just never known the Patriots to like just go with the lesser back and not give like the better back a chance. They know his value. They drafted him in the top 40. Like, I've always wanted something different stylistically than like just one back. Like Josh McDaniels even traded for Brandon Bolden when he was on the Raiders because he wanted like more than just one back. Like I don't think they're gonna.
I mean, I know we definitely got over all this.
That like
what
he just has like a 13 touchdown season.
I mean, very likely
he just gets that volume because they're gonna give him volume. Even if Ramondre Stevenson has volume, they're gonna give him volume because I don't even know.
You're preaching to the choir, Justin. You're preaching to the choir.
They might only have like 3 or 4 running backs on the depth chart. Period.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir, my boy. The guy's never fumbled. Doesn't fumble. Best pass blocking running back in the class. Enters the league as probably a top 5 pass blocking running back in the NFL. And this is just nothing but security move mixed with being one of the most electric talents in the entire draft for the Patriots. So they get to protect Drake May. I mean, it's clear as day. But you're preaching to the choir, bro. I mean, I create Henderson content left and right. So I'm not trying to like say
I'm not saying that you're not high enough. I'm just saying that, like,
you just said, but you started off by saying, I think we need to start drafting Henderson like higher or accepting.
I'm saying if you hit like the 60 pick range, he might need to be a guy you hit every single time.
Well, I mean, that's what we're trying to accomplish here. Exactly, for sure. No, it was just what you said. It was almost as if you were saying, we got to start paying attention to Trey Henderson. And I'm like, we've been doing our best. He's on the mother freaking supernova list. And I put him on the list before it was even remotely comfortable to put him on the list. He's been on the Moon Man, Mars Man list forever. Like I can only scream from the rooftops so long. But the thing is, when you say that, we need to start as a community. No, we don't. We like that the community doesn't draft Trey Henderson early. It's a steal. And we get to take advantage.
The larger underdog community.
We don't want the larger underdog community drafting Henderson at 50 because then we don't get to steal him away.
No, but I'm not saying you draft him at 40 or 50, but I'm saying if he had like a 45 ADP, I would understand.
Let me rephrase what I think you were trying to say. Smitty, let's keep crushing the Hendy ADP because people are sleeping on him. It's amazing. Like that's what I think you're trying to say, but we don't want his ADP to increase. We don't want you're like saying the whole underdog community, we need to come together and draft Henderson early. We don't. We love where he's going right now. We don't want that changing at all. Our community's on.
Don't do that. Don't put words in my mouth. I did not say draft him early. I said if he was at a 45 ADP, I would understand. Do not draft him early. Draft him at like 65 and get like someone amazing.
All right,
just an amazing.
Next topic, misunderstanding. I suppose I'll yield. Go ahead. What else you got? What else piques your interest from this board and these rankings here?
like, I know you're really out on like Josh Jacobs and Joe Mixon. How do you feel about like Woody Marks and Marshawn Lloyd in like a sprinkling situation?
I like Marks to a degree, but give me JCM over him all day long. So what ends up happening is I just don't find a lot of drafts where I'm needing, like, in a lot of my drafts, he's still out there on waivers, Marks. So he's kind of like a guy to monitor. Whereas Krosky Merritt, JCM, Little Bill is his nickname. Little Bill, I'm taking in every single draft. If I trade all my picks, which it's a common thing for Smitty to have no draft picks, because I'll trade them all for Bucky right now. I'll trade them all for Harvey right now. I'll do all kinds of, give me the now capital. And so I wait until the draft's over. It's 3 rounds long, and then I go in there and I grab JCM, who's still there, and I'm like, yes! I go grab Fannin, who's still there, and I'm like, yes! I go get Joe Milroe, who's there half the time, and I say yes, and I grab those guys, and I feel like I had second-round picks again. So Krosky Merritt, I'm much higher on. I think another running back that comes to mind, Rashard Smith, I might like more than Marks. Marks is intriguing, and then one thing you got to think is, like, is Mixon going to last all year? And if he doesn't, then Marks has to be given a shot at some point. So I do like him, but they have one of the worst offensive lines in the league. So it kind of just one of those things where all things are equal. This guy's on a better offense, JCM, Little Bill. Rashard Smith's on a better offense. There's Dylan Sampson's, just in just a better running back than Marks by a landslide. So, those guys I like a little more, but you're not wrong to think Marks has some hidden sleeper value that come week 2 or 3 on our waiver wire show will be smashing pick up Marks. No doubt about it. It's just hard to fit him in there now because you're giving up opportunities that are a little closer to happening and unfolding. Whereas Marks needs that injury. And if he gets it, then he's he's right there with these guys. So monitor him for sure.
That sounds real fair. I just thought it was worth kind of like starting that kind. And I know you probably talked about these guys, but I kind of wanted to hear it.
What else you like or don't like on this ranking here? Barkley, how you feel about Barkley being 4? How do you feel about JT being so low? I know JT is going to rub a lot of people the wrong way being this ranked this low. I know people are going to get mad over CMC and Henry and Jacobs. You already touched on Jacobs, but look, there's injury predictions in I could literally not give injury predictions, or I could give them. It's really up to me, and I decided to implement them in my ranking. And if people don't like that and they can't understand that, I can send them to 1 hour and 27 minutes into my show. I'll just remember that and say, if they say, why do you have Jacobs? I can't believe you have Jacobs there. Why do you have CMC there? How can you have Henry that low? 1 minute and 27. Anybody else see someone comment like that? Just put 1:27. It'll jump straight to that clip, and then it can explain it for them. I'm implementing injury predictions into my rankings. Whether it pisses people off or not, I don't care. That's why I have it the way I have it. But who do you dislike from this ranking here? Not players off the ranking. Who do you like on this or dislike on this? Justin, and then I'll move and then mute.
So, like, Saquon Barkley's a stunt, and don't get mad at me. Like, this is me agreeing with you. Like, the Saquon Barkley thing should be obvious to everyone. He's just had such a ridiculous amount of touches. What is he? He's over the third hill, right? And
he had
so it's like 3 postseason games deep.
He had 433-ish, 436, yeah. And I think
482 touches.
Oh, 482. Okay, 480 and 430 plus. Easy round numbers. 430 plus, 480 plus. So look, it is what it is. You either are on team. He will be. You'll either be on team he is built different, or be on team 130 plus carry seasons break running backs. It's very, very understand. Like, anybody that doesn't get it, it's wild to me. You know, if you rank Barkley low or you predict injury and people are like, how can you do that? I don't understand how you don't understand, if not you, Justin, but somebody else, that I just am predicting an injury. And for the people that say you can't predict injuries, go to the other channel then. I'm not here to explain to you how we've landed a lot of injury predictions or how I go about my process. I've been doing this 23 plus years predicting injury. I think I'm allowed to, and I think I'm going to continue to do it. So if that's not what you want, then the other content provider down the street can give you your Mickey Mouse non-injury predicted rankings. All right. Hey, Justin, any last thing before I have you go on mute? I'm not going to hang up on you.
Yeah, I cannot say his name if you want me to not say his name, but there is.
Yeah, we don't give free promotion over here.
That does, but I'm saying that, like, so I know you point out like the fantasy the doctors on YouTube that do fantasy. There are ones that will tell you that, like, if a running back has over like 350 touches in a season and they're over like the age of like 28, you need to run. Like, there is a community of doctors that says that,
but even those guys are doctors playing fantasy. I'd rather if it was me as a connoisseur, and I know I'm biased because I'd rather listen. I know you're saying they agree, but just for people out there, they're like, this guy's a doctor. Like, doctors that doesn't mean anything when it comes to fantasy football and correlating. I know.
Point of 350 is what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, 371. That's what I'm saying. They don't even know what the numbers are. But 371 is literally the statistical number that has been proven over the course of multiple decades, that when you get a 371 carry season, not only are you going to potentially have injuries, but you're going to break beyond the point of ever becoming the same player ever again. But 371. But I just have there's a couple guys that are there's one specific guy that I'm friends with that I like. But a lot of these sports, medicine doctor guys that are just trying to get into fantasy, they don't know how to apply it to fantasy football in the NFL. They just know the injuries from their field, and then they try and predict these things. It's like they're wrong so much. They come out and go, he broke his collarbone on this play, and it's like, no, he didn't. He didn't break his collarbone. Oh, he tore his MCL because the mechanism shows the injury from the left side. And it's like, yeah, he tore everything in his knee, not just his MCL. So it's funny to me. But hold on, Justin, hang tight real quickly. Let me go over to who else is on the phone line? Rock Out in the building. Justin, just mute yourself. I'll be right back for you. Rock Out, you're live. Rock Out.
Do you guys got any concern if Tua gets hurt?
Yeah, I mean, of course. We just saw a horrible season, or a horrible stretch of a season last year where he still ranked as a top 10 running back, but it was concerning, at times. But I think the saving grace here will be that Achane now has Bobby Slowick there, the guy that made CJ Stroud mature really quickly, and they made him a scapegoat last year. I think that's a really, really, really good offensive addition to help Tua. They got Ewers now. There's a lot of potential if something goes awry to keep the ball moving at least. So I'm feeling better about it, but I do worry about Tua. But Tua's in, I think Travis, you said this the other night, he's still pretty productive. Like, Tua's a pretty good quarterback. I'm not saying he's great, but I think he's better than Caleb Williams. Like, this is a guy that goes out there and can throw for as much yardage as anybody in the league on any given Sunday, and he's capable of throwing 4 or 5 touchdowns in any given game. I'm not saying he does that consistently, nor am I saying he stays healthy, nor am I saying he's a winning, playoff contending quarterback that we're talking from NFL terms is the guy you want in your under center. Of course not. But from a fantasy perspective, I think he can outperform Caleb per start. So I really, 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 really am excited about Achane this year because they got Aldi Gordon to kind of help out with those tough runs, get Achane back to what he does well, which is catch balls and get, those big play monster runs that are, getting him on the outsides. That's what you want out of Achane. Stop giving Achane 2 and 3 yard guaranteed runs. Like, here's 2 yards no matter what he does. You're going straight up the A gap where there's no room at all. We're just trying to make the defense understand that we're going to run the ball today. Here, Achane, take his 2 yard carry. Here, Achane, take his 2 yard carry. Here, Achane, take his 3 yard carry. Now all of a sudden Achane has 5 carries and only 1 carry that goes over 2 yards. And it's like, that's not what we want. And it sucks because you're just counting the Achane carries, right? Everybody knows what I'm talking about. You're watching the game and you're saying, Achane's got 12 carries. You just want to see that like 14 or 15. Why? Because it makes you sleep at night knowing that he's getting workhorse volume. That's all you care about. You're not even sometimes caring about the production. You're just like, give him double digits, get him in double digits. But really, it's not about that. It's about getting him those 7 yard carries. 7 yards per carry touches. Those are what we want. We want him getting 14 carries a game, 4 to 6 receptions a game. That is going to get you 100 total yards and a very strong shot at a touchdown, if not a 1.0 touchdown type of rate where he's getting 1 touchdown every single game at least. Love me some Achane. So love him this year. Tua worries anybody, though, to answer your question. Anything else, Rock Out?
And when it comes, I know you're like low on Jacobs and James Cook. Is there any place where you would take them?
Yeah, we'll see tonight if we draft. I don't know that I'm running away from James Cook or Jacobs, but the question becomes when I'm on the clock and I'm sitting there where these guys are getting taken. So let me get all these boys off the screen. Where is Jacobs going? What's his ADP? 3-4, like somewhere in this territory, depending on if it's best ball, is it not? We'll just put him right in between 3 and 4. The problem with this is I'm taking Harvey over Jacobs every single time. I just proved that in my rankings. I'm taking Henderson probably over Jacobs in my mind, but I realize I can get away with waiting. So I take a receiver here or I take JD5 here. I'm taking JD5 over Jacobs every single time and then taking Hendy later. I'm taking Josh Allen over Jacobs every single time and then taking Hendy later or Harvey later. So it ends up being kind of problematic that Jacobs just doesn't have the ADP in a territory where I'm saying, okay, now I'm in. I just avoid him because the other players there are just better every single time. Every single time. What else you got? Anything else to rock out?
When it comes to Henderson, I think he'll have a better start to Hampton, and then by mid-year, they'll be kind of going toe to toe after Hampton figures out that situation with Najee.
For sure. I mean, Henderson's gonna have maybe not even guaranteed, but maybe a slower start than Harvey, and then as I mentioned on my rankings, it's gonna be one of those things where if we're ranking it kind of like from the beginning stages, it's going to look something like this, where Henry is maybe right here and Harvey's impressing and people are like, wow, Harvey's impressing. He's near as good as Henry. But at the end of the day, I just feel like you're going to want to draft for how it finishes, not how it starts, right? Unless you can trade. And that's kind of a gamble because at the end of the day, am I taking Henry to trade him? What if I can't trade him? What if he ends up struggling for just a little bit of time? Then what? What if he struggles the entire first month and I can't trade him? And then he comes back and has some, 2, 3, 4 good games, but people are scared about his start. And then all of a sudden he breaks down that next week and you can't get rid of him. So I'd rather just draft who I want. I think Harvey outscores Henry. I'm taking Harvey over Henry. I don't really care what anybody thinks. I'm taking Bucky over Henry, Kyren over Henry, Achane over Henry, Breece Hall over Henry. Do I take Henry after that point if Henry were to fall? Probably take some gambles, but at the end of the day, I don't want it. Do I find a way out? Do I draft JD5 or Josh Allen over Henry and just take Harvey later? That's what ends up happening for me, is I find a way out of drafting these players I don't want, like Henry, Jacobs, McCaffrey, and I find a way in Tyreek Hill. I find a way to grab a different player, even if it's a cross position, and then I grab the guy I want more, like Harvey. Or I want Debo and JD5 versus grabbing some receivers like Tyreek Hill or whatever where JD5 is and grabbing my quarterback later. I'd just rather go that route. I'd rather take Harvey over Henry and CMC, but because CMC and Henry have second-round ADP and Harvey is fourth-round ADP, I'm regulated to going wide receiver, Drake London, et cetera, and then getting Harvey later. So it's just a balancing act in a different type of situation. Let me go to the phone line real quickly. We've got who else is still on the phone line? Go ahead, Justin. Justin, did you hang up? I think Justin hung up. I don't know if Justin's mad at me because he just sometimes he calls up and Justin, don't take it the wrong way. I'm just kind of trying to set the record straight that, you know, it sounded like you were saying that we needed to be higher on Hendy. I mean, did I get it wrong, Travis? Did I misinterpret what he was saying? Or, I mean, maybe I was wrong.
Okay. You were trying to say, like, people are kind of sleeping on Hendy a little bit, which I think the Patriots, I think, a little more than they should. I think people don't realize how big of a turnaround on paper. Maybe he meant that.
Yeah. Anyway, Justin, call back if you have anything else, Justin. He hung up. I don't know if he's mad. I think he said to go, maybe. Bruce, anything else, Bruce? We'll draft here in a second. Justin, you want to challenge me to a 1v1? Let me know. Yeah, go ahead.
I got one that I love the list, but if I put Barkley on the same level as a Henry and a CMC, that makes me look bad as I'm staying far away from you this year.
I mean, Bruce, I just got through telling you why I wouldn't draft Barkley.
Yeah, but you had him up there.
Yeah. You mean ranking him that low? I mean, it's basically what I'm trying to say though about Barkley. Like, we have to rank him here. It's almost like you can't not do it. I'm trying to think of an example. It's almost like you have to give the respect of this ranking. Like, you can only drop him so low, but I'm giving the caveat and cautionary, attached message that I do feel like it could be. It's not as bad as Henry or McCaffrey. The thing about Barkley is he's younger, and so he could have a top 1 or 2 or 3 running back season for half a season, and then fall off. But you're not crazy to put him on your no draft list because of all the reasons I said why I won't draft him. So if you're drafting CeeDee Lamb, or you're drafting Neighbors, or you're drafting Bijan or Jeanty or any of those players over Barkley, there's no shame in that, and you can find a player that suits you just fine. And then Barkley, just, what he can do, what he can do per start, what he probably will do per start. But at the end of the day, you got to make a decision of whether you can draft McCaffrey or Henry and still trade them and take that gamble of, like I said with Mixon last year, the smartest Mixon play, which we didn't know when he get hurt though. But the smartest Mixon play would have been to take advantage of his late ADP where there really was no risk. Let him play for 6, 7, 8 weeks. Trade him a little early. You might have traded him a little too early, but you're like, okay, 8 weeks in, he played 11 weeks in, good. 8 weeks in, you trade him and you get value. The question is, can you do that with McCaffrey? Can you do that with Henry? Will they even give you that much time? Barkley will probably give you that much time. I think he does break down, but there's always a risk at taking a player that your intention is to trade him. Because what if they get hurt earlier on in the process and you get screwed and you say, why didn't I just take Jeanty? Why did I mess around with grabbing Barkley so I could trade him? Why not just take Jeanty? Why not take the guy that I'll be begging to get in a trade anyway? Because come week 8 or 9, you'll be asking for Jeanty. Come week 8 or 9, you'll be asking for these other running backs. So why not just draft them? That's kind of what I'm saying. But you're not wrong in saying, or you're not crazy in saying that you believe Barkley will let you down and you want to avoid him. I understand that. I also understand why somebody might want to draft him. I get it. Some people are like, I just want to believe that he will stay healthy. I get it. Anything else, Bruce?
Yeah, I got one more. Even though it ain't running backs, but you know how we have Noah Gray, if you draft him, if you draft Kelsey, draft Likely, if you draft Andrews, Michael Mayer, if you draft Brock Bowers.
No, there's no evidence that Brock Bowers is going to be high risk anyway, and there's no evidence that if that happens, it'll be worth foregoing another option that could just do better all year. You know what I mean? Like, if I got Noah Gray and Kelsey, I feel better about that because Kelsey is older and the offense is just, ready to feed that position. I'm not saying that if Bowers went down, they wouldn't feed the position, but there's a chance they don't even look to Mayer or anything. We have no idea. So it's a little different. Not to mention Bowers, there's no risk in general of being hurt. So no. Plus Gray has had a little bit of a proven, stint where when he's given targets, he produces. When he's not given targets, he doesn't. I think people look at Gray's production overall and they go, he's garbage, he's bad. But when he's given targets, he's not. All right, Brucey. Bruce, call back. I'm gonna probably clear the phone line out. Or actually, just stay on hold here. Let me get you guys on hold. Travis, go ahead. Let's jump into unless Justin wants to do a 1v1, but he's got to act very fast. I'm only gonna do one draft tonight, but he usually throws something at me. I think we'll probably get into, let's see here. Let's go into a puppy draft, 20-second puppy draft. Hit the green button, Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Link I'll drop. There's 10 spots left, so don't complain into the puppy draft. You can get in. 10 spots left, 6 spots left. They go quick with you guys. You definitely have a high chance of getting in a draft with me because when I joined, there was only one other person in there. 3 spots left. There's the link. Hit the link. Puppy draft, 20-second puppy draft. If you want to be prepared the next time, click that link. 2 spots left. Click that link. Sign up under my link or use code Smitty. Either way, it gets it done. And then download the app. And then from there, you're just going to open up the Underdog app and go to the drafts. You're going to go to Originals. Go to active drafts, click the lobby tab, and then you can sort by NFL and get into one of those. Okay, just filled, starts in 52 seconds. That was definitely easy to get in.
Number 7 spot.
All right, so we got a lot of people in this one together because when I joined, and it's luck of the draw sometimes. When I joined, it had literally all 11 spots were available. So 4. I got 4. Finally got 4. Yeah, I always get 11, 10, or 12. It sucks.
Finally, you got a good spot.
What? Okay, let me draft this real quickly. Hang tight, boys, on the phone line. I don't know, Justin, you can call back if you want, bro. I was gonna go right to you. Maybe I was a little hard on him. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe he doesn't even care. Maybe he didn't take offense to it at all. I'm not sure. It seemed, Justin, just so you know, when you call in, it seems like you're always trying to say, I kind of had this idea that maybe we should, and you're trying to twist around what I'm already saying. And it makes me say, Justin, we are high on Trey Henderson. That's the only thing. On the clock, CeeDee Lamb went number 2. That's okay because I don't get a lot of JJ. So this will be good for me to get a chance to draft JJ.
That's my number.
I like JJ. I do worry a little bit. About the QB situation. I can't lie. I know Sick Nasty loves this man to the death, but I just don't know what they're thinking, man. And Aaron Rodgers making these weird comments the other day. I think Aaron Rodgers is for sure coming back. I would say almost 100%. The reason I say that is if you go watch the interview where he was on stage talking to people and a little kid asked him, all right, would you ever play for the Bears? And he said, well, there's another team that plays the Bears. And he wouldn't have said it with the confidence and the smile and the attitude. He goes, I get along with the Bears. I got a great relationship with the Bears, but it doesn't end good for them, or whatever he said. And that to me just tells me there's no way he's not coming back. And I think Tomlin knows. I think that's why no one's saying anything. Aaron Rodgers probably said, keep it low key. I'll be there. I give you my word. I'll be there. Just don't say anything. Let me do it my way. And I think that's why they've been so low key. Because none of it matches what Tomlin would normally do. Tomlin wouldn't let anybody control the narrative and make someone wait. I really think he knows the answer, or Tomlin wouldn't be this, calm about it. So, Aaron Rodgers, I believe we definitely hear before June 1, but I believe we hear very soon. Like, we're talking it's May 25 right now. I think we hear maybe even tomorrow. But this week, heading into June 1, I really, really believe that Aaron Rodgers is coming back and he's going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. I don't think he's going to be a Viking. All right, go ahead, Travis.
Yeah. Thinking about, I think basically, where would you have him right now, and what is feeling? Up with the starting job. A couple seconds on each one.
Yeah. That's tough. Man, Bowers falling this far is crazy.
Wow.
21. Yeah, that's insane.
You don't see that up.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've ever drafted that. That's crazy. Okay, so Scatterboo, can I picture Scatterboo playing? Like, if I go back to the running back board, I could see Scatterboo, I could see JCM, I could see any of these rookies. Or who was the other running back you said? Judkins and who?
Judkins.
Yeah, so could they play, in right after this group here? Like, let's say Henry and McCaffrey are injured or something, and Jacobs is out or whatever. Could I see those guys flirting with this next tier? Sure, but per start, I don't know that it's really hard to project them on the year when they got to grab a hold of their starting jobs. There's just no guarantee of any kind. As to when that's going to happen, so I'm not too sure what to say, other than it's just guessing, just throwing mud at the wall. I think Scatterboo doesn't get handed the starting job. Let me see who I take here. This is a tough dilemma to be in because I don't have an RB yet, and I like some other players, so I almost went 0 RB, but all things were equal. I looked at it. I saw Chase Brown. I saw Breece Hall. I guess this is where my true, I'm true to my word on this ranking that Breece Hall ranks ahead of Chase Brown for me because I drafted Breece Hall. What I didn't do is draft Harvey there and I'm not going to draft him so ahead of ADP because it's just not, I don't want to ruin his ADP on Underdog, and if I show you that you could draft him that early, a lot of people would start doing it, and then we're gonna ruin his ADP. But also, you got to take him where the ADP is as best you can, so that you can have as much variance in your teams as possible. So while I want him, this is my expectation. It's not necessarily the pecking order. I'm not saying you should let ADP change who you take, because if at the end of the day you like Harvey over Hall, to some degree you should be drafting that. I agree, but you also have to try and play the ADP game to the best of your knowledge and ability. And the fact that he can fall to this next pick of mine, I'm gonna let it's more important for me, for my viewers, to see me employ that than to go out and ruin his value, to go out and make it look okay to do things out of turn. And I just don't want to do that. It's not as important as grabbing him. Now, DK Metcalf, let's look at these teams from the 12th spot. BT, London, Worthy, Daniels. Amon-Ra, Nico, Jacobs, Jamison Williams, Neighbors, Achane, Josh Allen, and Hunter. That's pretty good. I like that team a lot. DK, Adams, Bucky, and Derrick Henry's pretty strong. Jeanty, Ladd, McLaurin, and Evans. Puka, AJ Brown, Chase Brown, and Hurts. That's pretty damn good. And then this guy on the clock. See, Harvey's still there. So that's why, that's kind of why you got to play that game. So this worked out perfectly because I'll reach for him here, but I don't want anybody to think that just because I have Harvey ranked over Hall, you should be making moves that don't allow you to get both. And I didn't expect him to fall in this group because everybody's sniping everybody all the time, but I needed to show that that was my intention, because in any other draft, I would have done just that. I would have tried to get RJ Harvey to fall to the 4th round pick and take Breece Hall, because if I took Harvey at 28, I wouldn't have got both of them. So I got JJ, Brock Bowers, Breece Hall, and Harvey. I'm loving that. So that's kind of to explain what's different about rankings and where you take a guy. It's a delicate balance. It's a really, really tough balance. You got to be very smart and vigilant about it and be disciplined, because it's so easy to just snipe guys and make bad decisions. But at the end of the day, you got to be very, very, very disciplined in how you deploy things. Now, here's another potential dilemma. I don't want DJ Moore. I don't want Cortland Sutton. I don't want Zay Flowers. I don't want Mixon. I like Kittle. I like Pickens a little bit. I'm going to take Trey Henderson here, who's a little bit of a reach, but I don't think it's bad in round 5. Justin, there's your 52 overall. So I waited on a running back. I went Justin Jefferson. I went Brock Bowers. So I went JJ and Brock Bowers were my first 2 picks, these 2 guys. And then I went running back. Breece Hall, Harvey, and Henderson. All right, phone lines are open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
That's a good running back stable, huh, boys? That's pretty good. To get back. Getting Bowers, too, is crazy. Like, if I told you I had JJ... Yeah. If I told you I had JJ, Breece Hall, Harvey, and Henderson, you might think, yeah, you took those guys a little early, but I like them. And you're like, no, I didn't. I took Bowers in the 2nd round. You're like, oh, shit. Like, that is nice. I like it. Jeremy, why not Hampton over Harvey? I mean, Jeremy, I think I've already made my case for why. Like, Harvey, I like Hampton a lot, but he's in a committee. Harvey's not. Harvey's the every down back, the workhorse, the volume getter. And while Hampton will be per start in the conversation with Harvey, it might take him a month, it could take him a little less, it could take him 2 months, it could take him half a year to get in full-blown workhorse volume. It could also be one of those things where he never gets true workhorse volume until maybe the end of the year. Or what if he shared carries all year long? It's certainly in the cards, but Hampton is in a timeshare, no doubt about it. Don't let anybody convince you he's not in a timeshare. Is he the best running back in the timeshare? Yeah, but he's in a timeshare. And I think Hendy might start off in what is perceived to be a timeshare, because sometimes rookie running backs or rookies in general are rolled out in a progressive way that gives them more and more work. So it might look that way. Harvey will not get that treatment, I don't believe. And Judkins is even more in a committee. And I didn't answer that earlier. Judkins, again, will be, I just don't think those guys climb into the tier and rank of RBs that I have. But could Judkins be the very next guy? Sure. Could Scadaboo be the very next guy? Sure. I'm going to go Mahomey here, which is I'm taking everybody about 8 picks ahead of ADP, but I don't really care. because I'm not making any mistakes, really. Yeah, I mean, Bowers, JJ, Henderson, Harvey, Hall, and Mahomes. It's all very much in a logical way. It's very, very logical.
Hypothetical situation where judges, five or six, they're like the clear guy. Obviously playing. Do you see top 10 potential for any, or do you think it's still hard?
I think Scatterboo and Judkins both. I don't think Caleb has top 10 potential. I think he has top like 12 to 15 potential, but I don't know. The way that I look at it is, I think they're slightly outside of that value. Let me make my pick real quickly. James Conner. I mean, Judkins is here. I don't mind Judkins here. I don't, but I would prefer a receiver if I can find one that I really like. I'm going to time out. I'm reaching like hell tonight. Jeez. I took Ibuka. But I had 3 seconds left, and I was like, I'm getting all the guys I want, and I'm reaching, but I don't think my team looks like it's been affected at all. I needed another wide receiver badly. Olave got taken. He would have been the guy I probably took. Ricky Parasol. Luther Burden I like a lot. Higgins. Like, all these guys are good, but Ibuka I like better than all of them. So I'm not going to sit here and go 20 picks down, or 10 picks down and back, 10 picks back, or whatever the hell it is, 8 picks down, 8 picks back, and expect Ibuka to be there. So I've been reaching like crazy. They call me the reach master in this draft, no doubt about it. But I'm reaching smartly. I feel like I'm reaching very, very smartly. I think this team
might be not the difference.
Yeah, this team looks phenomenal. All right, let me see who's on the phone line. I know I added somebody that might have hung up already. I don't know when Justin's coming back. I think he's mad at me. 208, you're live.
Hey, Smitty, how's it going?
What's up, bro? What's your name and where you calling from?
This is Russell, calling from Idaho.
What's up?
Marsman.
Marsman. Russell, Marsman.
What's
your...
I'm Klondike.
Klondike, what's up? Yeah, tell me that. I don't know who Russell is. You can't tell me.
I know. My bad.
That's like Denny calling up and going, "This is Daniel." I'm like, who the hell's Daniel? Oh, Denny. You tell me you're Denny? What's up, Klondike? My boy.
What up, man?
What's up, bro?
So, I gotta wonder, like, if we could talk about the running backs real quick. Like, I lifelong Green Bay Packers fan. Why are you so, like, I'm not trying to say that you're low on Jacobs, but why do you have, like, you put him in the degree that you do?
Yeah.
I think he's going to go off this year.
Sorry, bro. I'm sorry for the way that feels, though. I am. Well, I mean, that's my personal opinion. Look, I mean, I liked him, you could say I liked him near as much as, anybody or more than anybody. Let me go Luther Burden here. I think as much as I worry about Luther Burden's situation, I don't love it. I still think that's a really solid, like, he's so good. I think he finds a way. Some players, wide receivers specifically, have had horrible quarterback situations. And while I don't love his quarterback situation, I wouldn't even call it horrible. I'd say there's going to be plenty of opportunity. But I love Luther Burden. For me to have JJ and go light wide receiver shopping and take my number 1 and my number 2 and number 3 rookie wide receivers pre-draft, it was one was Hunter. Two was Ibuka, and 3 was Burden. I think I'm going to be in good shape at wide receiver. So as for your let me just see. Charbonnet was a good pick. I would have been tempted to take him there. Who took him there? Yes, that's a good pick. I don't mind that at all. Kyler Murray, it's a good pick. I'll probably go Travis Kelce here. Literally feel like the draft has felt pretty well for me. Mahomes, Breece Hall, Harvey, Trey Hendrickson, JJ Igbuka Burden, Brock Bowers, Travis Kelce, going bully tight end. I mean, look, the touchdowns, I don't think he'll necessarily, it'll be the same. I think this offense might take a step back. I know you don't want to hear that. I don't believe Jordan Love right now. My mind can be changed. I think Jordan Love could prove things to me. He doesn't know how to elevate the players around him. I think Jacobs, the team really leaned on him when Love didn't step up last year. I feel like Love did take a big step back. I'm sure you feel that way. Like Love did not do what you fully thought he would do, right? There's times where it was sketchy. I think he didn't find Jaden Reed like he should have. He didn't make anyone his number one wide receiver. I feel like that's a little problematic. I feel like you also hand him the one receiver that's never caught 1,000 yards in the college level, and that's the guy you want to be the savior of that problem. I just think that there's a lot of, question marks for the Green Bay Packers. And you add in that Jacobs has been beaten into the ground. He was in LV for as many years as he was there. And so at some point, I just feel like it's better to get off the train before the train derails. Could I be a year early? Yes. Did I love Jacobs last year? Yes. Did we conduct the Jacobs train last year? Yes. So I feel like I have a little bit of authority to talk about Jacobs from all levels because I feel like we were higher on him than really anybody. Even when he had some dark moments last year, we stuck with him and he ended up balling out. But I think the team kind of leaned on him because they knew they couldn't necessarily lean on Jordan Love. But that's just me, bro.
Well, do you think that the injury had anything to do with that?
Yeah, I don't know what to think about it, man. I just don't get a good vibe with Jordan Love. I feel like a lot of the way Trevor Lawrence's career has gone, I feel like Jordan Love's like a step behind him and going down the same path. Could he be revived? Yeah. Do I think he's still got talent? Sure. I just don't know. I don't know.
So you say you're losing Love to faith?
For sure. Absolutely.
In Love. Well,
absolutely.
Well, I mean, I hope it works out for Love, but I gotta shout you out real quick when it comes to JD5. Like,
thank you.
On top of it, from the top, like from the beginning, and I can't tell you how many leagues that I got him, like ridiculous rounds, like everyone was sleeping on him.
Yeah.
I won like 3 different dynasty leagues because I drafted JD5. So I just want to give you a shout out for that.
Thank you. And hopefully Harvey does the same thing for you, bro. Real quickly, guys, on the clock, do I go Trey Benson or do I go Trey Benson, or it's really the only player I like right here. I'm just going to go Benson. Never mind.
I think another thing, I like Jake, it's so tough, get 15 TDs or even 12 or 10 TDs 2 years in a row. That's great. And then since 2020, it's stupid numbers, but bigger than that, he's like, he takes a little step back, which he's more down, years down. Maybe he doesn't have 3 big different spots, but 2020 he's back a little every other season and over 300.
Yeah, and Jordan Love, you're right. I mean, he did miss, what was it, 2? Didn't he miss 2 games? One or 2 games? Or a game and a half or whatever. But, like, he's been in the league a long time. I know he didn't get a shot till 2021. It's not really his fault, but he's been in the league a long time, and I feel like he should be further along. I know the mental reps, everything, and the fact that he took a relatively big step backwards last year. It felt like, even though you look at 2 extra games and you say, you know, what's that really mean? It's not the biggest step backwards, but it certainly would have still been 32 touchdowns to 25. Maybe he would have had 28 or 29 touchdowns. Maybe he would have had 13 INTs instead of 11. Maybe he would have had, instead of 33, 89. I mean, 2 extra games, maybe he is at 37, 30, 6, whatever. But it still was a step backwards. And it more so than just the stats, I felt like he was disappointing looking. He didn't look the part. And the fact that he couldn't gravitate toward Jaden Reed, who I think is a low-end wide receiver 1 in the NFL. I think he's at least like the 12th, 13th, the 14th, or top 15 wide receiver. And I just don't understand why Love can't make him connect with him.
Find him.
I just don't. And so, if you were to give him maybe a target like Ted McMillan, who I don't even love Ted McMillan's final outcome as much as everybody else, he's still a very consistent player that could go get a football, a jump ball guy. I don't know why you don't get him, Jordan Love, a receiver like that, versus a guy that's never caught 1,000 yards at the college level. Like, Golden is the definition of higher risk first. He has one of the worst first round profiles for a receiver ever drafted. I'm gonna go McMillan here. Love this receiving room. Quietly, JJ Egbuka, Cuffton McMillan, Luther Burden, and Jack Besh. It's very young. This receiving room is basically a bunch of kids. I don't think any of them can even drink. And then JJ. I've got Bully tight end with Bowers and Kelsey. I've got Breece Hall, Harvey, Henderson, and Benson. And I've got Patrick Mahomes. Okay. And as for Jacobs, let me put Jacobs' stats on the screen. I know this isn't what you want to hear, and I could be wrong, bro. Remember, I'm going to be wrong about a lot of things. This could be one of them. This definitely could be one of them.
Yeah, and that's totally fine.
Love Jacobs. I mean, like I said, who is talking him up more than us? No one. Really, he was a Mars man. He wasn't even a moon man. He was a Mars man. We loved the guy.
Yeah.
But, at some point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons, my shelf life for RBs is 5 to 6 years. I think when you're talking about 7, you're holding your breath that it's a full year. So especially when you have a running back that's taken a beating like he has, where he's getting 340 carries at, and he's mustering up decent yards per carry in some of these seasons. Hold on one second. Let me go. I need a quarterback here, boys. Tua's not bad. Your boy Jordan Love's here. This is really insulting right now. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna go Tua. I'm gonna go Tua. Tua's got a better chance of having bigger games, I think. Oh man, I'm sorry. That was so disappointing. Yeah, I'm sorry, bro.
That's right.
But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons here for Jacobs. He's missed some time over his career. 13 games played in 2019, 15, 13. In the last 3 years, he played 2 healthy years, though, but there were over 300 carries in 2 of those 3 years. That's a lot of carries, bro. 1606 is a lot of touches.
Yeah, he's a rushing leader.
So you're going into your 7th season with the rushing, with all that pressure. 15 touchdowns, which regression more likely than not. And if Love does step up with Golden a little more, then you're not leaning on the run as much like they were last year. I don't know, bro. I just call me. Yeah,
he's going to be healthy this year.
Call me a year early. That's fine. I don't care if it makes someone mad, but I'm jumping a year early.
Yeah, I'm not trying to have an argument or anything.
No, I'm not saying to you.
But
I'm just saying I'd rather take another player. And then what it comes down to is look where Jacobs went, like in this draft, for example. And this is not a good example because everyone's hearing me, say avoid him, and then he falls. So he went at 35 overall. He usually goes a little bit earlier than that, but Chase Brown went before him, and then we go down. Jaden Daniels, 37. I'd take Jaden Daniels over Josh Jacobs all day long and just figure out like an RJ Harvey later, or something. I took RJ Harvey here at 45 versus Jacobs at 35. I take Harvey all day long over him. Breece Hall at 28, I like more, but again, he went before that anyway. James Cook, Alvin Kamara, I could see arguments to take Jacobs over those guys. Hampton, I could see an argument to take Hampton over Jacobs, but would I do it or would I wait?
He is fantastic right now.
Well, it is if you believe
a bunch.
Yeah, if you believe in him, it is.
Yeah. And I'm taking Harvey too. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, you know, there's like I've been a listener for years now, and
boy,
you've hit more often than not.
Let's hope.
Sorry, go ahead.
Let's hope I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
On underdog, it's hard for me. 24 or 25. If you can have that, I like over.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Travis, man. I don't know that I think it's the best ADP. I know you think it's fantastic, but as I just alluded to, Harvey, Hendy, Hampton, I want all those guys over Jacobs, so that's why I never draft them.
I live in Idaho, so I can't even draft underdog.
I'm sorry, bro.
I can't do it. It won't, yeah. Kind of sucks that way.
I'm sorry.
Other places is probably pretty good. Like redraft it, not probably what.
Hey.
Yeah, I do a bunch of dynasty leagues.
Hey, real quickly, boys. Hold on. Michael Wilson. Geno Smith is the third quarterback. Michael Wilson. I don't know who to take here. Damn it. I guess I'm going to go Michael Wilson.
I'd go Michael Wilson because if you do Geno, you have Tua, Mahomes, and
yeah,
you draft another one.
Yeah.
But you have Geno to Bowers too, if you really think of it that way.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not the biggest I don't know. Geno's not bad, but I feel like I'm not winning a championship with Geno. Like that's not. I'd rather take a swing at somebody else. But then again, Michael Wilson, you're not either. So, but I have other quarterbacks that I like, so I think I'll wait. I don't know.
Would have swing on Love, he probably would win.
I don't think so, bro. I don't know. Who here believes in Jordan Love in the chat? And don't just say whatever you feel. I don't care. It's definitely arguable. My vibe off last year was disappointing. I was disappointed, and I think they ran the damn ball because it
from game one.
That's also a problem.
Right.
I mean, he's been hurt. Yeah, he's been hurt before.
I'm a big fan of him.
We liked him a lot earlier on. We did. Remember, he was a waiver wire guy, and people we were all like, "Why you leave him on the waiver wire?" We liked him, and he played well that year. He played very well, but it's a different year. He's coming off in my opinion, a disappointing year. Like Travis said, he's been banged up a lot. He's been in the league a while, so I guess I'm kind of got fatigue waiting on him. I feel like I'm waiting on Aaron Rodgers. It's like, how long is it going to take? He's been in the league since 1950, and he's been sitting on the bench waiting, and then now you got to wait for him to have some ups and downs, and it's like Green Bay, I just, not that you don't have a good coaching staff you have a good staff, but I feel like they don't recognize certain things, and I feel like drafting, and I could be wrong on Matthew Golden, but I was not high on Golden at all, so it's not like this isn't the spot I want. I wanted Burden or Ibuka to go to Green Bay so that the talent would shine through so much that that no matter what, they were going to be successful. No matter what they planned, they would get open. I think Matthew Golden,
yeah.
I mean, he's not I like Isaiah Bond better. I think Isaiah Bond's a better receiver than Matthew.
Yeah, well, I don't think he still has his package.
Well, he's not even in the NFL right now because nobody wants to take a chance on him, which is crazy to me.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, he's coming off. Love is coming off a tough year. Rodgers went 6-10 his first year as a starter. Like, that was a forgettable year. I think Love deserves a little bit of leeway. And
I timed out, damn it.
I have no idea.
No, you're fine. I timed out on Roshan, which isn't the end of the world. He's got some upside.
Not being.
I don't know what's going to happen to Golden. I don't know, because, like, honestly, I wasn't that thrilled that we drafted Golden, but, I mean, his walkout, everything, like, the whole experience of drafting a wide receiver for the first time since 2002, like, that was, like, cool in itself as a Packers fan.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
You know, they did it while hosting the draft. But it's like, I did not like him going in the first round.
Yeah. He's probably the worst prospect, wide receiver prospect ever drafted in round 1 in terms of the profile. One of them. I mean, at least the last 10 years. No profile. I'm not saying he's the worst receiver, like he ends up being the worst receiver. I'm saying profile. He is one of the worst fantasy profiles and expectation. Hold on a second. He just doesn't fit. I'm gonna go Aaron Rodgers, kind of.
Yeah. Watson had a better profile. He went in round 2.
Yeah, but you can't just do that. You can't just play that game. So and so did well, or so and so didn't do well. So let's try. Let's go. Let's do the opposite of crazy. This is like George Costanza. Let's do the complete opposite. That's not the way it works. Just because Christian Watson didn't work out in the second round, let's try it. Let's do the complete opposite. George Costanza wouldn't talk to the girl. George Costanza wouldn't talk to the girl, and he'd order a chicken sandwich on white. So he's going to order the Cobb salad and ask her out, and tell the girl this time that he lives with his parents. Remember that episode? It's just not. I don't know. No one knows. No one knows. Seinfeld, come on. Nobody wants Seinfeld.
Sorry, Smitty, I don't watch TV.
You don't watch TV? Ever?
Nah, I mean, the amount of TV I watch is sports.
Okay.
About it.
I can't be mad at you for putting some time into the fantasy football show, that's for sure.
I do. Dude, Jordan Love reminds me of C.J. Stroud.
Why are you whispering, Bruce? You sound like God. Are you in the same room as your mom? Is she asleep right now on the couch, or you're in the kitchen, or what?
No, I'm in my room.
Oh, okay.
There's a loud echo in my room. But yeah, C.J. Stroud reminds me, or Jordan Love reminds me of C.J. And, you know, we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, Stroud's a pimp. Like, you know, he's very talented. And so, but I'm curious to know what you mean by that.
Who are you talking? Bruce?
Stroud had a really good game. And then
really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I see what Bruce is saying here.
Yeah.
And again, I think I haven't said that Love will be a bust. I just said that I find different players that, like, I'd rather have Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, and nor am I drafting anyone in that territory to be my starter anyway, unless I miss on Mahomes and Burrow and all the big dogs. But I'm never drafting Love to be my starter ever. And it doesn't mean he can't be. It doesn't mean he won't have such a bounce back year that next year I am. But I just don't feel the vibe this year at all. And I hate to say that as
you drafted Tua.
Tua's a much more productive fantasy quarterback when he's firing off. He like best ball. You don't play in best ball, like you just admitted that you don't have it in your state. So the thing with best ball is you want spike weeks. You want people Tua can score 50 points in a week, bro. Like, you can have huge spike weeks. Love is not going to score 50 points in a week. But I know what you're saying. He could get injured. I get it, but you know, don't worry. That's why I drafted Aaron Rodgers. Just kidding. Mahomes.
I just drafted a dynasty league, and it was the slowest draft ever.
All right,
and I went heavy on running back, wide receiver, and I went skimp on QBs. And I'm kind of playing a little base to Aaron Rodgers right now.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, Klondike. Hold on 1 second, Bruce. Mahomes, Tua, A-Rod, Breece Hall, Harvey, Henderson, Benson, Dylan Sampson. I timed out on Roshan. JJ Igbuka, Luther Burden, Jack Besh, McMillan, Michael Wilson, Brock Bowers, Kelsey, Gray. So tight ends are probably the best in this entire group of 12, in my opinion. But wide receivers are definitely not the strongest. But I love the craftiness of it. I think out of Jalen McMillan and Igbuka, I'm going to be fine. I think it looks like a weak wide receiver too, but I think Igbuka is going to be so good this year as a rookie. He's going to end up being. This is the player you should have drafted, Klondike. Igbuka is going to be so good his rookie year. This is my number 2 rookie receiver before the draft. I think he's going to be so good in Tampa. You should have traded up. You should have been aggressive. If you're going to go wide receiver, go get a wide receiver that can change your franchise. Go get the arguably the best, most NFL ready receiver in this draft class in Igbuka. But anyway, Igbuka, I think is going to be so as a rookie. He's going to be drafted where JSN's getting drafted now next year. So we're talking like 3rd to 4th round. Sometimes JSN falls to 4.1, 4.2. Grandma leagues he'll fall there. But I think that's how good Igbuka is going to be. I cuffed him to McMillan. McMillan's a great cuff for him. I think Luther Burden is also, he was the 3rd highest ranked rookie receiver for me. Don't love his landing spot, but landing spots don't always hold back receivers in totality. But I certainly think he won't get as much touchdown production, let's say, there versus another situation. But I think that he'll make everything he can out of it. Jack Besh is a very, very big sleeper. Great wide receiver of 5. I got him in the 4, but again, I'm going light wide receiver shopping. Michael Wilson's intriguing. My running stable, it's risky, but I like it. Breece Hall, Harvey, Hendy, Benson, Sampson. Quarterback room. Not my favorite team. I think I did good with it, but not my favorite team. Let me just look at these teams real quickly. Rockout's team is right here. Let's see. Oh, I said I was going to look at this team. Brock. There's your boy Jordan Love. Dart. Bijan, JT, Rice, Tet, Sutton. Well, see, like, no offense to this team. I'm not saying it's bad. But Rice, McMillan, Sutton, Judy, Pearsall, I don't think this wide receiver room blows mine out of the water at all. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I look at some other more balanced teams that drafted in a more balanced way, and I don't necessarily feel D-Money coming in with the Goff and Stroud. Jacobs, Judkins, Caleb. Man, you better be loaded all over.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra, Nico. Okay, Kittle. Not bad. I don't think it's Hurts, Chase, Brown, Walker, Puka, AJ Brown. Rock out. Nice job. Balance. I like it. Jawan. It's good. Good. If Walker, if you always get sniped on Sharp when you drafted us. I would recommend people not draft Walker in our group because you're going to get sniped on Sharp. So it's really hard to draft Walker with our group. And then
how many times did I literally have to group them together. And it's like an art to, those rounds apart, like to nail both of them.
Penix.
I do. I try.
Penix
I think sometimes is. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think K9 is.
Right, I think he's. Hold on a second. Hold on. Penix Jr., Stafford, Kyren, Alvin Kamara, Chuba Hubbard, Charbonnet, CeeDee Lamb, JSN, Rome. This is a pretty good team, bro. I like your team a lot. Warren, Andrews, Fannin, CeeDee Lamb. This is a really balanced team. Lamb and JSN's great. Kyren, Kamara, Chuba's nice. There's Charbonnet. Penix Jr., Stafford. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good team. Do I think it's better than mine? Mahomes, Tua, Hall, Harvey, Henderson, Benson, JJ, Buka, Bowers. No, but it's pretty good. I think they're all really even. I don't think my team blows a lot of the teams out of the water, but I think we're all pretty close, unfortunately. That means it's going to be a tough, hard battle. Baker, Lamar Jackson. You know, I like 3 QBs. Gibbs, McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, old dog team. Godwin, Tyreek Hill, CMC. Good Lord. It could be good. Could be good. All right, I'm going to cycle the phone line off and get out of here because I'm tired. I got to go work out too. So let me go over to Klondike. Klondike, sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead. Final thoughts, Klondike.
Hey, just love your show.
Show loves you back.
Go Paco.
All right, later, bro.
Dude. And when...
Oh, I thought he was done. Sorry, Klondike. Bruce, your final thoughts. Go.
Well, I sent you that thing that I seen. But my final thought is actually a question. So everyone says if you draft Kenneth Walker, don't draft Sharp because you're gonna get.
Who said? No free promotion out there. But no one says that, Bruce, unless you're not no offense, but a very bright fantasy football content provider.
Not saying that. Well, I don't know. So you only use Smitty, not me. I'm just saying people in the chat and all that. What I'm saying is, what do you think on just taking Sharps earlier just to handcuff? Like, is that a bad idea?
Yeah, I mean,
how early would you take Sharps? I guess.
I think that's what Bruce is trying to say. I mean, it's a must-cut, Bruce. You walk out of your draft without Sharps and Walker, like Rockout did tonight. You're upset. Rockout is on mute, banging pots and pans, smashing windows, breaking vases, dropping them on the ground, punting them into the big screen TV. It's not a nice feeling. It's not a nice feeling. You gotta reach. You gotta. You don't reach, you're gonna be very upset at yourself. Don't reach any higher than.
I didn't know.
Huh?
I didn't know how high, like how many more rounds earlier you get.
You keep whispering.
Would you go like 2 rounds earlier than Sharp's ADP?
I wouldn't go 2 rounds. We're whispering. Bruce, I would probably take him. Like, count your ADP spots and figure out if it's going to be a very close call coming back to your next pick. And if it is, then you got to consider him that pick earlier. Well, you're not taking him 2 rounds earlier. You're taking him when it gets a little dicey. Don't wait till that pick. If it's like, okay, his ADP is, whatever it is, 7.2 or whatever. If you're drafting at 7.1, that's one pick. You're not going to get him, or you got to assume you're not going to get him. If, let's say, you're picking at 7.2 and his ADP is 7.9, there's a lot of flexibility there. I think in a non-best ball draft without our community in it, you'll be fine. 8 times out of 10, 7 times out of 10. But you can't be, just don't draft Walker. Draft only Charbonnet if you're drafting with our community, or you're going to get sniped and you're going to be pissed off.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a must. It's a must by just sheer, statistical, the science is right here. They were together, not even using 2 backs in 1 week, just overlapping their starting games. They were running back 5 together. Charbonnet alone was on pace for 360 points if you take his 5 games. Divide by 5, multiply times 17, extrapolate that sucker out. You got a number 2 overall running back in fantasy in Charbonnet. But Walker was the number 1 running back in the league in forced missed tackles per attempt. He's number 5 in yards after the catch per attempt. And that's per attempt, not on the year, because he got injured and then he shared the role. And so it is what it is, but Walker and Sharps is, I love Walker. I just wish he'd get traded. All right, Bruce, appreciate you, bro. Tell your mom what's up. We'll see you later. What? Hi, me, thank you. You sent me what thing?
Thing that I've seen from earlier today, ETN. that I wasn't watching anyone else. It was just
You can watch. I wasn't saying you can't watch anyone. I was just saying I don't give free promotion. I was saying that anybody that tells you to what was it again that they told you? I forget already. What was it? What was the advice?
Turning doing the Kamara Ingram.
Mark Ingram and Alvin.
ETN being traded to the Denver Broncos. Okay, yeah, I'll check into it, Bruce, and if there's anything cooking about it, I will certainly go live on it, but I don't think it's anything to concern yourself with. Let me see. Yeah, Bruce, I'm not going to give him free promotion. They can call me and try and, get an ad spot here, but I've never even heard of these people. Never heard of it in my life. It's not on any mainstream. Not on any. Jaguars may trade running back Travis Etienne. I mean, look, the Jags may trade him, but this is probably, I haven't even looked in it. It's probably a very speculative piece. It's probably saying that I haven't read it yet, but the Jaguars. It's been rumored that they could look to shop ETN, but I don't believe that the Denver Broncos are a target. I think that that's him coming up with something is my guess. I don't think the Broncos have any interest in ETN. They may have before the draft. I think that might be where he's pulling it from, but I wouldn't buy into that at all. All right, Bruce, got to go. Appreciate you, bro. Call in tomorrow. Appreciate you. Rock out. Final thoughts. Thank you, Jaime.
Yeah, when it comes to Charbonnet, he got picked like 98th, and he was a 114 ADP.
Yeah.
The only way I would be able to get if I picked him in the 8th.
Yeah, you just got to kind of let him. You just taking Walker in our group is not an easy task, bro. I probably wouldn't draft Walker just because you're gonna get sniped on sharps, man, every time. All right, my boy. Appreciate you. All right, call in tomorrow.
All right, cool.
Travis, final. I hung up on Travis. Call back. I'm sorry. Jaime, thank you. Just got home. Going to watch from the start. Replay views matter too. So thank you very much, Jaime. Replay views matter. So thank you. Jaime to the moon. Sorry, Travis. Go ahead. Final thoughts.
No, it's all good. I was going to ask, Dynasty, would you rather ETN or Javonte?
ETN or Javonte? Dynasty?
Oh, yeah. Javonte's 25, might be turning 26, and I think ETN's 26.
And I've got no backups or anything, right? Blue's not on my roster, or Bigsby's not on my roster.
Just curious.
ETN turns 26, you said? Ziggy, how old is Travis Etienne?
Travis Etienne Jr. is 26 years old and was born on January 26, 1990.
January 12. Okay, so he turns 27 next year. So 26, he's still young, though. I mean, it's 26, 28. Javonte's 25. Ziggy, how old is Javonte Williams? Let me get his birthday.
Javonte Williams is 25 years old and was born
April. Okay. I'm going to lean Javonte because he's in the starting role, and I don't think ETN's going to be starting, although I don't know. I don't know. It's so tough. Let's ask let's ask Rockwood. Let's ask, who else can we ask? Let's ask Kruger. Hey, Kruger, question for you, my boy. Who's more likely to be the more valuable fantasy football asset in 2025, my boy? Travis Etienne, the running back for the Jaguars, who has Tank Bigsby behind him, nipping at his heels. They drafted Bashal Tutin, the rookie running back, or Javonte Williams. So Etienne or Javonte? Javonte has a nice, fresh, young rookie in Jaden Blue drafted behind him. Who is the better option, Krug?
All right, Smitty, let's break it down. Between Travis Etienne and Javonte Williams for 2025, I'd lean slightly towards Etienne. He's got a proven track record as a lead back, and even with Tank Bigsby and Bashal Tutin in the mix, he should remain the focal point in Jacksonville's offense, especially with Liam Cohen at the helm. Javonte Williams is intriguing, but he's coming off some inconsistent seasons and has to share the backfield with a talented rookie like Jaden Blue. While Javonte has upside, Etienne's situation and role in the Jags offense make him the safer and more valuable pick.
Mm-hmm. Let's go Pablo. I forgot about Pablo. Oh God, I feel bad. I didn't even. Pablo, hombre, what's up, my guy? How's it going? We're in the middle of end of a Fuego live stream. Who do you like better, Javonte Williams in fantasy this year, with the rookie Jaden Blue nipping at his heels, or Etienne in Travis Etienne in Jacksonville with both Tank Bigsby and Bashal Tutin nipping at his heels?
Yo, what's good? Fuego live stream? Let's go. All right, let's break this down. Javonte Williams or Travis Etienne for 2025 fantasy? Tough call, but I'm leaning Etienne. He's got the edge with his proven volume. Last year, he was RB3 early on.
Both of them. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Keep going.
No worries, man. We're all good.
Both Krug and Pablo.
Travis Etienne's got the edge for 2025 fantasy. He's been a workhorse for Jacksonville, racking up snaps and touches, even with Tank Bigsby and Dearness Johnson in the mix. Last season, he was...
Dearness Johnson. Okay, you're done. You're done. You start mentioning Dearness Johnson. You're done. You're done, Pablo. You don't know ball. Pablo's still training. He's bad. All right. Anything else, Travis?
No, yeah, I think I agree. Javonte, you said. I guess where Etienne ends up being.
Yeah. Yeah. Part of me wonders if Blue will be better than all of them. Like if he gets the work, but I don't know. It's tough to say. I mean, Liam Cohen's so good with RBs. Part of me is like, if I had all of them, I'd rather have the Jacksonville guys because I don't trust Jerry. And, not that Jerry makes all the calls, but I don't know. I feel like I like Javonte, though. But if I'm talking about Javonte or Etienne, we don't have a good vibe on Etienne being the lone starter. We kind of do have a good vibe that Javonte currently is, but he could lose it so quick. All right, later, Travis.
Thanks, Ray. Bye.
All right, guys. Appreciate you all. Thanks for drafting with me tonight. If you want to get in on it next time, make sure you hit the link. The link is right here. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Here is the link. Boom. Right there. Do it live. Smash the link. Code Smitty gets it done. Up to 1,000 bonus credit on your first deposit. Depending on the deposit you drop, they'll give you that extra bonus credit and give you a free pick in your account. Make sure you get on over to Underdog using that link right there. Smash it. Do it live. Don't forget, I have a Patreon. It's basically my live chat group. We got rid of the Discord a while ago. Discord is very toxic and negative. This is $10 a month. You cancel anytime. It's basically the live chat room. The great people you see in the live chat right now, a majority of them are on the Patreon. Go jump over to the Patreon. I'm going to get on it right now after this stream ends and discuss whatever you guys want for a late night topic. I'll see you all later. Don't forget to get on over to my thefantasyfootballshow.com rankings, bold predictions, trade calculator, articles, you name it, 365 rankings, super rookie rankings, super flex rankings, redraft, dynasty, the whole works, top 200 rankings, all of it and more. Check it out. And don't forget to go check out the dynasty video that I just dropped not too long ago, like probably I'd say it was 5 hours ago, maybe 5 hours ago. This dynasty video dropped. Go watch it. Dynasty trades. All the dynasty content will now be on this main channel, and the Dynasty channel is turned into Fantasy Football Unplugged, which is a behind-the-scenes look at this brand and everything that I've got going on, and it's going to be a fun way to vlog to you guys and have like a personal, like one-on-one type of feel. And so we'll talk a lot of fantasy and strategy and things like that too at times, but it'll be amazing. Don't unsubscribe to the Dynasty channel that is turned into Fantasy Football Unplugged. You're to subscribe to it anyway if you were subscribed to the Dynasty channel. And if you haven't, I'll put the link to the Fantasy Football Unplugged in the live chat right now. We're also live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. Here's the Dynasty channel now turned into Fantasy Football Unplugged, and the main channel here, the Fantasy Football Show that you're watching now, will have everything all encompassing. Here's that Patreon link. I'll drop this link. I already dropped the Patreon. No, I'll drop the Patreon link, this link, and then the YouTube link to my Fantasy Football Unplugged right now. So appreciate you all, and see you tomorrow. Here is the Underdog link. Here is the Fantasy Football Show.com link, which is my content. Want bold predictions, rankings, and all of that. Here is my Patreon link. All these links should be in the description as well. And then here is Fantasy Football Unplugged right here. Later, Klondike. Appreciate you. Hit that link. Subscribe to the Fantasy Football Unplugged link. The show right there. You're going to love it. Deuces. Appreciate you all.
Your Bijan card has been revoked.